Welcome to the Cam Strick Podcast, episode number 158, presented by
Hair Club for men and women.
Okay, yes, it's for everybody.
Yeah,
I just want to make sure you know that. I mean,
what did I say?
Well, you started to saying Hair Club for men. I just want to make sure you were going to include everybody
and women,
children too. Really?
I mean, you know what? I think the children. If you're going bald as a child. It is what it is.
What's the youngest age like it happens? Like,
dude,
do you
fucking
know?
18, 19, homie.
No, I'd say younger than that.
Dude, you ain't getting fucking hair plugs at 17, dude.
Well,
like, you ain't got no money. No.
Well, I'm just saying,
look,
you just never know when it can happen.
If I had a kid, and he's a good kid, he's got shit going for him, but his fucking hair sucks because his daddy has bad fucking genes.
Yeah.
Which happens, kind of like you in other ways. But if my kid's that way and he's losing his hair, I'd be like, okay, I'm not spending money on you yet. But when you get older and you need to get a job and you need to want confidence, then we'll talk.
Well, I want to talk about that because it's genetic, right?
Well, you fucking hate.
Okay, so if somebody...
wait. Do you think I went to the hair store and said, give me the bald spot in the back of my fucking head. I want that hairstyle.
Why? Is your dad bald or...
No, but my both grandfathers
shaved their head. It's usually the grandfather on the mom's side. That's how it works.
They both
I've known that for a long, long time, actually. In fact...
We all did.
My grandpa Joe... great guy from
Shit kicker, I'm sure.
From the old, oh, dude, he's the best. I grew up like in a European household, so you don't even know this. Like, no one really spoke English. My mom was born in Sweden. My grandparents, her parents, her mom was from Poland, and her dad was from the old Czechoslovakia, now of course known as the Czech Republic.
Yep.
So it was a very European household, and which is why. Like, I never really put two and two together, but when you watch me play, my hands, like my skill level, like I play more European than I do North American, and you know that.
Yeah, you're
you know
soft
that.
European.
Well, I'm like Landeskog, really.
Yeah. No, they called you a European because you're fucking soft, not because your hands were fucking
Okay,
sick.
so what I was saying is, yeah, he had lost his hair, but I think at some point in life, when you get older, I think eventually, I mean, can you prevent that from happening? Like, is anybody like 90 right now just cruising around with sick flow? Like, does that really happen?
I mean, yeah, there are.
Name one.
A bunch of actors. I mean, there's a ton of good dudes that have thick hair at 90.
Fake hair.
Andy, honestly, there's guys that have thick, full hair. They get hair at 90.
Yeah.
They might have other flaws. Their penis might be small. Or they might have bipolar. I'm just saying.
You can't control that either. You
can't. No, she can't control any of it, dude. You might have bipolar. But there's 90-year-old dudes with fucking gray hair that's flowing back like I'm a bad motherfucker.
Did I tell you that I got my hair colored, by the way?
Did you?
Can you tell? You told me to. And so my French-Canadian hairdresser,
let me see right quick.
Well, she blended it.
Look, all right. Yeah, it looks good, man.
Yeah, you can tell?
You look good
It's a little darker.
I like when you wear your glasses
No, I
TV.
couldn't. Did you see a couple games ago? The green, like Skeletor,
I don't pay attention
like superhero eyes came back out?
Look, you ain't that important. I don't pay attention that much.
Okay,
So you
listen, it's
know.
Enterprise Center. They've got those green logos and lights. You know, when that pregame show starts, the green logos are just like screaming in my face, and I had to take my glasses off.
I just think you look better. You look fine either way, 100%. And I'll chirp you when you.
What did you say the other day when we did our photo shoot? That I hold my hands up in the air and the clothes just fall on top of me.
Your clothes.
No, what were you saying?
I don't know.
No, you said
they don't fit you. My clothes are falling off my small arms. That's probably what it was. So get jacked so your clothes fit a little bit better, because when you put your arms up, they just fall. They fall down, and I don't like it, and it's not good for the brand. It's not good for the brand. But what is good for the brand is you have good hair. And right now, I'm telling all y'all, if you're looking in the mirror and you see it coming out, man, I'm telling you, you have options. You do. Just go look it up. Go talk to these people. You have so many different locations. I don't give a damn where you are in the United States. There's a place close to you. Call them up.
How did you first find out about them when you first went in? Like,
dude,
did you tell anybody? Did you say, hey, this is what I'm doing?
So here's what happened. I would go to, I'd get all these different brochures. And
it's a brochure, but it's not a brochure. You got to know how to say
Andy,
it. Like,
I don't give a fuck.
It's a brochure.
It comes to my house, and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, what the fuck? And this is when I had money, and I didn't give a shit. I just wanted to look sexy as fuck. And I'm like, I had all these brochures from different companies, and I'm like, nothing. And then Hans, they were listening to something, and they got a hold of me, or I talked to them at an event. And they're just come in, and we'll show you. And I'm like, oh, okay. So you're not going to send me a goddamn brochure?
You have no idea how to say the damn word.
It's a down brochure. And so I'm looking at it, and I'm like, hey, yeah, nothing happens. But when I went in there, and they're so sweet to me, I walked in, I'm like, hi. They're like, hey, Cam, come this way. Do you want a coffee? I'm like, fuck yeah. They give me a coffee. You want something this? I'm like, yeah, I'll take that too. Then they sit me down and they had this lovely lady. And she's like, hi, Cam. I'm like, hey, what's up? And she's like, let me look at your hair. I'm like, oh. And she starts touching my hair and like looking through my bald spot. And I'm so self-conscious of my bald spot.
And where was your bald spot?
In the back of my fucking head.
Oh, it was still in the
Andy,
back. It wasn't like the front where
it's
you were.
It's both, damn it. Jesus Christ. So she's like, Cam. And she's like, I'm like, like a cat would do. Like, oh my God. And she's like, Cam, this is where it's
I've never heard a cat make that noise.
And I'm like, oh my God, girl.
It's like a Hispanic
I'm like,
cat.
tell me, what's up? And she's like,
rolling the tongue.
Stop it. And I'm like, this is what's going on. She's like, you're doing good here, but this is what's coming up, blah, blah, blah. This is what we could do for you. It was the most lovely. I go, can I have another one of these tomorrow?
Oh, you want to do it again?
I wanted to do it again.
Yeah. Well, okay.
And so my point is,
let's speed it up here. Speed it up.
That the hard part is walking in that fucking, you get brochures of other things. And you're like, fuck, what the fuck? But then they tell you to come in and you go in there and they're like, Cam, here's what's up.
Can I tell
Okay,
people
I'm sorry, but I want to let people know. Walk in the goddamn place.
Yes, and they've got solutions for everybody. And 1,200 locations. I keep mentioning that. You just stick your head out the window. And there's like they hear you. They can hear you. They're so close to you. There's locations everywhere throughout North America, and they style your hair. They can cut your hair.
Oh, they do
you
everything.
Can shake your hair.
I might go in today, just to let me know how bald my bald spot is.
You know
just
what?
to touch my fucking head.
Well, as an ambassador for Hair Club, I may go in there too, and just and I have actually gone in there a couple.
You need
of times,
to work out,
dude.
Hey, you just seen it. Like,
what are you talking about? What are you talking about?
If I'm going to evaluate you. Your hair's okay. If I'm evaluating you, whenever I text you every fucking day, when I'm like, you did good today, you look good. I always pump you don't pump my tires up for anything.
I told you, you had a nice little video yesterday.
You didn't say fuck to me. I pump your tires up for everything. Andy calls me, I counsel him. That's how it goes. I pump
There's
your tires.
nothing wrong with that.
Well, fuck. I need to get pumped up too. My wife ain't doing it. So my point is, your hair's fine. You could use it. You need to get the neck a little bit bigger. Tighten up your fucking shawl. I'm just saying. I don't want a big neck. Tighten up a little bit, and then have that stance where your shoulders are a little bit hiked up a little bit, but you look good.
Yeah.
Work out a little bit more. That's your problem. Your hair's fine right now.
Like lifting weights and stuff.
Yes, like lifting weights. Well, what do you think I mean?
There's a couple things, man.
Chopping wood that you don't do?
Well, no, we had lots of wood going last night, man. We had fires galore.
Lift weights, Andy.
In fact, I woke up, the fire was still going.
Me too.
Yeah,
I
this
thought
morning.
I was a little bit of a hoosier.
Yeah.
I made that motherfucking fire.
Don't make that mistake of emptying your fire pit. Like, you got to wait. What,
on dry grass? No, I don't do that, Andy.
Don't do that. But I was lifting weights. I for a good 3 years there, for like 3 days a week, and then COVID hit, and then of course I found my personal trainer from the Peloton. Jess.
She has no idea who you
are. And I started doing those, and now I'm just I eat so clean, and I skate a little bit, coaching whatever. I'm going from point A to point B nonstop. I just feel like right. I just naturally kind of keep in shape, if you know what I mean.
Oh yeah, you're a woman. You do Peloton, you take the kids places, and you don't work out. That is
you're a woman. I'm going to be on the ice today again. I'm on the ice 3-4 times a week.
You fucking stand there and you blow a fucking whistle.
That's not what I do.
You don't work out. Do goddamn push-ups.
Oh, I do push-ups,
Get the fuck
too.
up and do push-ups, dude.
Yeah.
Your chest is tiny. Your chest is nothing. It's minuscule. Do goddamn push-ups. It costs you nothing. You don't need a weight room. You get the fuck up and you do 20 in a row. You stop. You do 20 in a row. You stop until you get 100.
I had a lot of dark chocolate yesterday because it's healthier than the regular chocolate. You know that, right?
I don't give a goddamn. I don't care.
Dark chocolate.
No one came to my house yesterday. I'm fucking depressed about it.
We're going to get into that. Can I just tell people something, though? Hair Club, though. Hey, I got a new phone number for everybody because you can go to hairclub.com/CamandStrick. Hairclub.com/CamandStrick. Everybody's welcome. I mean, everybody. It's all inclusive to anybody listening, man. We want everybody, coming on board with us. Hairclub.com/CamandStrick. And here's the phone number, 800-279-7878. 800-279-7878.
87878.
Oh, my God.
What'd you say?
I mean, no. 800-279-7878.
7878.
Yeah, well, Brody's got to put it all on Instagram, so you're confusing everybody.
Look, call him up and be like, hey, give me a consultation. I want her to touch my head.
800-279-7878. 800-279-7878. And listeners who call the number or set up a consultation on the Cam and Strick landing page where you can do that. You can go to the Cam and Strick landing page, Set up your consultation there.
Consultation there. I'll correct you.
And you're going to get $250 off of Select Solutions.
Oh, goddamn right.
So that's what I'm throwing out there today.
They got
$250 off of Select Solutions.
$250, by the way. Yeah. They get hair shampoo. They have shampoo and conditioner that makes your hair grow back.
I know that.
Legitimately.
Yeah. I don't know what they put in that, but are you using it? Because you need to be.
I need more of it.
Yeah.
It's getting bad back there, and I don't like it.
Okay, so
I don't like it.
This may be the first show that we've done where, and it's not even the case, but where you may, like, your, like, smartness is closer to mine. Like, normally you're like I'm up here, you're way down here. Yeah, the intelligence. But I was up very late. The whole neighborhood came over. They all wanted to hang out. We had fires going on and whatever.
Sure they did. What they want, that kale that you made?
And we had lots of food. We had like nacho.
What food did you have?
Nacho bar. We had like a nacho bar.
What food did you have? It must have been so fucking miserable to go to your house and be like, I'm starving. Well, we have a
vegan
meatballs.
I think vegan meatballs.
Vegan meat. It's sick tough. Oh, were you guys hungry? Let's go to Andy's house.
Oh yeah,
they have vegan stuff.
No, but let me tell you this though. The beverage selections that I bring to the table are top notch, man. And I've got something for everybody. You're a whiskey guy. You're a vodka guy. You like the canned cocktails.
I like party favorites.
You need to mix. Well, we got everything. We got everything you need at the at my Halloween bash, man. And a lot of kids were cruising around the neighborhood. I know you're pretty upset that you didn't get a whole lot of trick-or-treaters.
I'm disappointed. I'm upset with my whole fucking community. The wealthy part of Franklin County. You disappointed me.
I told you, it's all old people out there.
They disappointed me.
It's old people out there.
Well, they're all wealthy.
Well, because they're retired.
They look up to me because I'm young. I'm in my 30s and I'm living out there.
They think you're like one of the trick-or-treaters.
They think I know.
What are you dressed at, little boy?
They treat me like a fucking little boy.
Like, I'm almost 40 years old.
I set that motherfucking...
You're so young for our neighborhood.
I set that fucking driveway up. I busted my ass. I got candy out the fucking zoo. I got booze for kids if they want it. If they want it, I'm just saying.
You can't be giving them that.
You can't say that. You're right. You're right. My
parents and stuff like that.
You're right.
How are the leaves looking in the background?
Oh, man.
Are they orange?
Red? Andy.
Because I will say this.
There might be 4 trick-or-treaters. Okay. Well, I live in the most beautiful place in Missouri.
Can I just tell you this? My historic tree.
Most beautiful place in Missouri.
Next to it, when we built our house a year ago, I had the landscaper. You know, our boy Richie. Give Richie a shout out.
I thought it was Hector.
No. Hector cuts the grass.
Oh, yeah.
Although...
The heck dog?
He's now removed. We have Jose who's doing it now, who does a phenomenal job. He puts those lines in there. I mean, it looks like the San Diego Padres, like Petco Field or something. Like, it's amazing.
Sure,
got all the lines in there. But you know Richie, used to ride the Zamboni.
Oh, he's a wheel. Bobby's boy, Richie.
Yeah. So Richie, he planted a tree. I said, Richie, I want the tree to like where it's going to have yellow and orange and red leaves and stuff in the fall. He's like, dude, I'm putting in a Morning Glory maple.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm like, dude.
It's Oasis song.
Well, my Morning Glory maple, which is growing, I mean, it certainly is getting bigger and bigger. It's very healthy. I've got the sprinkler system that Sebastian, who also goes by Santa.
Hey, quit pumping up your fucking guys because I don't give a fuck.
Sebastian,
they ain't paying money to me. Okay, so don't fucking bring him up.
Can I tell you this? Sebastian,
call him all Hector.
He's my guy. I hooked him up with somebody else who I knew because they were looking for a sprinkler system. And they're like, he said his name was Santiago. He didn't say it was Sebastian. So, I mean, he told me Sebastian.
They don't even know what their names are.
No, he told me Sebastian.
They're doing it for
And the other
cheap.
One is...
You're doing cheap. You're getting cheap work done.
No, he's the best.
Good. You're getting cheap work
done. No, I'm going to send him out to your house. He's the best.
I got guys.
I got a Christmas lights guy for you,
motherfucker,
too.
I'll take that.
Yeah, I know you will.
I'll take that.
I know you will. You
go
white
roof,
lights or colored lights?
My roof is steep as fuck. I have a castle-looking house.
Yeah.
My roof's steep.
You don't ever show the house. You just show the backyard.
Wait, what?
You show the backyard.
Wait, no, you chirped me about going to a concert.
No. Oh, you did. That's where you had
everything I do.
That was outside.
I never get pumped up for anything. Everything's so
true.
cute that I do.
Your video yesterday was great.
My whole life is adorable. Although I'm a Hoosier, but my wife makes it cute. I don't get pumped up by Andy ever.
Hey, listen.
Ever. There's never compliments from you. You always speak.
Remember that story that I wrote, the Blues record with you in the lineup versus without you in the lineup?
You were forced to do that. Get out of it. You were trying to be.
You were
trying to be obscure and like
amazing.
something different.
No.
Get out of here.
It was amazing.
You crunch numbers together and like Cam's beneficial and something.
I'm like, when he's in the lineup, and Andy Murray was like,
probably hanging out with me at the
did
time.
Cam write that for you?
You're probably hanging out with me
That's
at the
what
time.
Andy said at the time.
You're single. You're hanging out with me and the boys. And
every time I would pump somebody's tires that wasn't a star player,
Andy get pissed.
Management or coaches would say,
not on me,
would accuse that player of writing. I'm like, Cam can't write.
No.
He's not writing.
Time out.
So listen, I did a story on Mike Weaver, like who was my boy, like one time.
He's a good guy.
He was a good player, right?
He's a good guy.
Like a stay-at-home defenseman.
He had a bald head too.
He did. But and then he went to Montreal and it had some good.
The
moments
Weave Dog
there.
was cool as shit, nerdy as
He
fuck.
was. Well, he
Great
and Andy
guy.
Mack were like best of friends, right? And
Until they fought. Can I give a little story?
No, you told that story once.
I already did?
Yeah,
Can't do it again?
At the end of the year party.
Oh, these two guys.
Like shirts were.
Oh, they started wrestling each other.
Tarps were
in
off.
front of
Can you say that? I mean, because I don't know.
Oh, that's Ronnie McLean.
I don't know.
No, they're fucking.
But their shirts were.
They're
off.
making out. To be honest with you, the funniest, goofiest fight I've ever seen in my life. We're at a bar, a cool bar, if you guys catch my drift, where we can hang out, And then,
no, what does that mean?
It was a sexy bar.
Oh,
Johnny's.
Oh yeah.
Okay,
Johnny,
Andy, you probably weren't allowed in there. So the point is,
great lunch spot.
We would party there. Yeah. Nobody's allowed but us.
Great food, by the way. Yeah.
Okay, sure, Andy. Jesus fucking Christ. But those two guys started fighting in front of all of us. Big Walt is sitting there drilling on himself.
But
it
started as a joke, right? Throwing out hundos.
He's throwing out hundos. And these two started fighting. We're like, what's up, you fucking... Then they started punching each other. And they started ripping their shirts off. And they're so jacked. They're so cut up.
I know.
They're falling on the floor. We're literally kicking them. Like, get up. It was the funniest fucking thing.
Andy Mack had like 2% body fat, which... I mean,
I almost had a heart
that won't
attack.
even protect you from like the common cold, man. I mean, like if you got to have some body fat, right?
We laughed
because
so
I'm at about
hard.
like 7 or 8%, maybe 9%.
No, you're not, Andy. Your body's very, very flamboyant looking.
It's not.
It kind of.
I just have my. They're kind of like my skinny jeans on today. What do you call them? Like the
unathletic looking.
Unathletic looking jeans.
I mean, for fuck's sakes.
That's
but
not
anyway,
true. But so they had a little bit. You know what? They're both very smart, both college guys.
Totally.
And in the case of Mike Weaver, he like designed like websites back in the day, even when he was playing. Remember?
Yeah. I mean, I guess.
Remember BJ Crombie?
I never asked him about his
BJ
fucking
Crombie
website.
was like going to school.
The Bean Dog.
Would you let him study?
Oh my God, I torture him so fucking. Poor Beaner. I love him so much. BJ Crombie. God, I love that man so much. He was my roommate. I tortured him. Andy, I was in fucking Weirdville at the time. I was like, eh. And BJ would wake up in the middle of the night because he had diabetes, and he would wake up and he'd crush fucking soda at 3:00 in the morning when I'm just getting in. And he's like crushing a soda, and I'm like, dang, what's up? Cut as fuck. The nicest guy.
And
the
he
smartest.
helped out a lot of kids. Remember, they would have events for like kids with diabetes and stuff like that.
He helped me out a lot too.
Yeah,
he did.
Oh, he was
I
great.
love you, BJ. God damn it.
I think he probably had more fighting majors than you at one point.
Because he's able to fight everybody.
He'd fight like every game.
He's just such a good dude, man.
Yeah.
I don't know. I got to give the Crombie a fucking shout out. Love you, homie.
BJ.
Damn. The BJ. Oh, I called him so many nicknames.
Okay.
I can't even. I can't even.
Well,
get into
you
it.
know what? And
I'm sorry.
He'd probably fight you too. Then he went on to Tampa Bay.
He was my
whatever.
boy. You out of your mind.
His dad played in the league too. Played for the Blues back in the day.
Yeah, the big Bean Dog.
Yeah. I think now he's like a financial advisor or something like.
Fucking right, he is.
You like all these guys like back in the day? Like, did you have him pegged as a financial advisor?
Hell yes, I did.
You did. Okay.
Andy, 100%.
Did you have Carlo pegged as like?
Fuck no. Oh, as a.
Hey,
as a sports nerd, you're goddamn right.
I sent Cam a picture yesterday.
He's smoking a doobie.
I screenshotted it and I made it up close. He had a picture on Twitter of
those fake cigarettes,
a fake like candy cigarette from back in the day.
But no one saw the other part of it.
So I enlarged it. No, they did in the regular picture.
Okay.
So what I did was I screenshotted it and then I made it up close like he was just.
My God.
And I go, look,
he might get fired.
Carlos smoking a doobie on Twitter.
You gotta be careful.
And can't believe me.
Well, I'm like, why wouldn't you?
You're like, oh my God,
well,
wow.
Why wouldn't you do it? Well, you don't do it on Twitter. I mean,
It was a
my
candy
video
cigarette.
you saw. Don't give me look at my eyes.
Yeah,
They're
a
fucking bloodshot.
Candy cigarette.
But the point is,
Yeah.
Carlo's in a different spot. Like he's in TSN, which we love.
Yeah.
Which
you can't do that there.
And they're
Although it is Canada, man, it's legal throughout the entire country, so maybe it's no big deal.
Everything's sensitive now.
What are you sensitive about? Like, what makes you sensitive?
Want me to give you my pet peeves?
Yeah. Like,
I'll give you my fucking
what
pet peeves.
offends you? What are you sensitive about?
I'll give you my pet peeves, and I fucking get pissed. I don't not just the regular stuff like traffic. No, when I go to a fucking gas station and some dipshit's in front of me, and there's a big line, and he's buying goddamn lottery tickets with change.
Well, that's why he's buying a lottery ticket.
No, with change, you're buying it, and then all of a sudden you're like checking your lottery ticket while I'm trying to buy some case of fucking beer. Get the fuck out of my way.
Yeah,
your lottery. No. I don't want it.
Not something to be
here's another
worked
thing.
up about.
I'll give you another thing.
At all.
When I'm crazy.
Just telling you, like, of all the things to bother you.
Now, have you lived out in Eureka? Have you lived out in the poor part of anything?
I have not.
So shut the fuck up. No one's buying lottery tickets where you live.
Oh, yes, they are. In fact, I do pretty often.
Well,
when it gets to like
cheap too.
when it gets to like $600, $700 million, I start playing. Did I tell you the one time I was driving through Colorado?
Let me ask.
We stopped in a town called Colorado. It's right on the border of Kansas and Colorado. I said to my wife, I said, this is where you win the lottery, like in a town like this.
Yeah, in the middle of nowhere.
And I pulled out in the gas station.
In Kansas.
Cam, I had like the first 3 or 4 like numbers.
Yeah, well, you didn't get the rest of them, so no one cares.
Yeah.
Here's another thing I don't like. The phone service. Why am I calling people? Why am I calling my wife? And I need to leave her a fucking message. And I call her fucking number and it goes, hi, I'm a recording. This number, please leave number, press 1 for the, bitch, I want to fucking leave her a message. Just let me leave her a fucking message. But then they go on for 15 minutes about what you need to do. And they tell me to fax somebody.
Yeah.
No one has fax.
I've never
I want to smack the robot.
Is she like a business?
I want to smack the robot.
Oh.
It's a robot.
Why are your text messages coming green?
Because I downloaded. No, I don't do it on my phone.
You got a virus?
I got it.
You get a virus?
I got a thing that I do when I want to get weird. Okay, and then that motherfucker's going in the bottom of the Mississippi River. Okay, when I get my
your computer?
Yeah, no,
Keep that away
no.
from me.
It's my
Keep that away from me and my kids.
Like I'm going to give it to you? Why would I give it to your kids? That's my baby, and no one gets it. But once that mug's out of date, I throw that motherfucker in the bottom of the river. Is what the fuck I do.
Yeah. Well.
So I don't use other devices.
Well, why are you green though? What's going on?
Oh yeah, I uploaded a new.
You don't have an iPhone anymore,
motherfucker. Yes, I do. But I uploaded. No, I did the upgrade, and then it went to Fuckville. Okay, meaning Fuckville.
I win a lottery in that town too.
Yeah, great town.
That's a great town.
Great hot girls in there.
Ticket, yeah.
Hot girls. They like to bang too. But the point is, I download this mug, and then all my phone went to shit. I had to go to AT&T. I missed a meeting, this, that, and the other. I'm never late for anything. It was the most difficult day of my life, kind of. But they never fixed the green part of it. So I'm texting people, and it shows up as like my old email
I'm having
address.
people ask me about this. And they're asking me what's going on with Cam. They want to know.
I don't know. I'm not tech savvy.
Like, you can't be having green like nowadays.
Can't do it. No.
And people realize that. I didn't realize because before I had a deal with a Samsung. Okay, and so I always had the Samsung. I didn't have an iPhone, and then when I got the iPhone, and it started coming in blue, I started texting. They're like, "Oh, you got an iPhone?" I'm like, I didn't think people could realize that, but that was years ago, and I've been on.
No, I got an iPhone, but it's fucking everything up. I don't like it.
Halloween was just an amazing day. Like the kids are off school today. Today feels like a winter vacation, like
They're
the day
off
after.
school day?
Yeah, and tomorrow.
Why?
Well, parent-teacher conferences.
So they scheduled right after Halloween. Good for them.
Which is great. That's the way you do it.
So they finally made a good decision.
Yes.
Good for them.
Well, I think they've made several good decisions.
Is it the parents making the decisions, or is it the school board? Now, there's a difference, homie.
Okay.
So the school boards now
that's above my pay grade. I don't get that
now,
involved.
all y'all in Canada, all y'all everywhere. The school board is now acting in the United States in certain areas like the parents don't have a fucking say in their children's fucking future.
We had
that's not
neighbors
acceptable.
Who came over very late night. One of the neighbors was like kind of cruising around, like everybody's overserved on Halloween, and it's perfectly fine. It's perfectly acceptable. And then he brought like over all these other neighbors. You ever met that one
Fancy
neighbor
lads.
though? They know everything about everybody in the whole neighborhood. Like they're telling me stuff about every neighbor, and I'm like, what does he know about us, and then they're in the house.
Cheap?
They're in the house. They're like getting the tour of the house. They're walking around the house. It was okay though. I had no issue with it, but it's
Andy,
just kind
my
of,
neighbors think I'm a fucking freak show. Okay,
well,
you're fine. Okay, what are they going to get from you? You reported wrong. You didn't wear your glasses that one time on.
Your glasses were green.
What are they going to dig into me? Like they're all like confused about me and Kate.
They're like, what?
They're like, what is this psycho?
You played in the NHL.
They're like, why are you listening to heavy metal? What?
You can't
why are you?
Halloween? Oh, I had the scary music going, dude. You get the video I sent you?
Yeah.
Yeah, and lots of people asking me on social media. A lot of people. I've talked to a lot of people, Cam, you know that.
Did.
And they're asking if you came over to the Halloween party.
Fuck no. Why the fuck would I do that?
Well,
what am I going to get out of it?
I thought you were coming. I kept saying, I kept saying, don't leave. Cam still might be coming on the way.
What the fuck am I going to get out of that? What am I going to drive 35 minutes for? What do you got for me?
Oh,
are you going to alter my mind in a good way? Are you?
Well,
because I already have it at my house. What are you going to do for me? Now I got to drive with it to your house?
You got to find
what the fuck are you talking about?
Actually, Laurie said to me, she said, we need to go out to Cam and Kate's.
That's fine.
So I'm thinking this weekend.
I ain't having anybody out this weekend.
What do you mean?
Stop inviting yourself because I'm not ready yet.
That's what do you mean you're not ready yet?
I got people in my house,
Dude,
motherfucker.
You had the video out. First off, my custom sports chair. Can I just mention that?
Yeah, you should.
Promo code Cam Strick 20. Cam Strick 20. You had the Devil's chair. It says Jansen 25 on the back.
Bullshitting me about that.
You didn't show the back.
I didn't show the back. It said Jansen 25.
I know.
Sick,
and then
sexy as fuck.
The Cam and Strick chair, which is sick too.
Women would have came in a subdivision and stole that mug if they would have said Jansen on the back.
And your wife, even in the video, she's called me sexy. I think when she looked at the chair, she said, She
said what?
Yeah, I think she called me sexy. I think she said something about that.
She said you're sexy.
Yeah, I think
in what
did.
way?
Well, I mean, is there more than one way? Well, because I was on the. I'm very prevalent on the chair. I'm on the chair, the Cam and Strick chair. And she was looking in the video. She's like, look, he's sexy.
Yeah, when she listens to the podcast, she listens to what you have to say. Mm-hmm. No, she's critiquing everything I say. No, she doesn't listen to the podcast.
What was the reaction people said about the chair, though?
Oh, they fucking
My custom sports chairs.
Well, the Blues fans
Chris Stewart, by the way, check out his Instagram, man. He's got every team he played for.
Oh, well, 15? So if I ask this motherfucker for another chair, he's going to be like, I gave Chris Stewart all of my fucking chairs.
Well, he gave Dan Heino. Well, I don't know if he gives. I mean, people are like using our promo code.
I need a chair. I'm like, well,
me too.
I need one because I need a Blues one now with Jansen 55 on the back. When you play for two teams, that's what you do, Andy.
I might need a 9 Parkway North. Probably. I'll probably get one of those.
People are bullshitting me. I'm like, I got to throw some fucking... They drafted
what my football number was, by the way? I ever tell you that?
What?
20.
0?
It was like
left out? Is that a number?
No, number 20, but number 9 was always my number. Titus got his new jersey, by the way. They had a jersey reveal for the little kids. Did you see that?
No, I didn't.
Oh, they call them up. You didn't see the pictures?
Andy, like, if I'm going to look at pictures, like, if yours come by, like, sometimes I skip it.
I can't believe you didn't see that. Oh, you just skip right through it?
Well, it depends on what it is. If it's with the kids, I'm looking. Or your wife.
I can't believe you wouldn't check that out.
If it's with you, like, sipping a cocktail, I'm like, I don't give a fuck.
So what they do is... Look, they call him up to the stage.
Give me the goddamn phone.
This is the jersey he got.
Oh, he looks so cute.
And so they call him up to the stage.
I'll babysit that motherfucker. I'm not going to lie to you.
Oh, this is the family pick. What do you think of the family pick?
Andy, it's fine.
Okay.
Like, I've seen 50 of those.
And so then what they do is it's like at a amphitheater. And
that's a good pick right there. Yeah, that's your profile pick.
Yeah, that's good. I should change it to the profile?
You need to do something.
Like which account? What are you talking about?
Well, you have two
you
accounts.
act like you're like a social media consultant.
Well, I'm better than you.
I mean,
you got a cute family. Take advantage of it. I get it.
Okay, so
don't put your face
at the amphitheater. What happens is every team. So they pick different themes for every year. Sometimes they'll do NHL teams. This year they're doing college teams. So we're North Dakota. We didn't choose it, but that's the team that we got.
That's fine. That's
some
TJ
teams,
Oshie, baby.
Some teams are Annie's number 7, which I think Oshie wore.
What if he was like Penn State or something? You'd be like fucking Sanda.
Well, I can't. It's not.
I'm just saying.
No, I'd be like Chase Burger because all the Burger boys played out there.
You think of Sandusky first.
I don't.
I do.
I do not.
He's a monster.
Saquon Barkley or something like that. He played at Penn State.
No, I think of a monster.
Stop thinking of that.
Well,
dude.
Fucking get him out of my pit. Get him out of my head.
So, but I feel like some of these kids, like they're on like Mercyhurst, Canisius.
Who?
I know. It's like no kid.
Hey, so imagine you get like Boston College and fucking shit, and all of a sudden you get like Mercy. You're like, what the fuck is this?
I play for Canisius.
This Ty would be like, bitch, get on.
Bitch,
get on.
Likes
Give
North
me
Dakota.
Michigan State.
So anyway, so you call up the names. They come down. They get their jersey. Take a picture. Then the team. It's really cool how they do it. Kirkwood Youth Hockey. I'm giving you a shout out. Man,
we love all the youth hockey.
Yes.
In St. Louis, baby. We love.
But then Steve Otter, his little boy Maverick.
Cute.
He's a cool little kid, man. I like
family.
He's like, why aren't we doing OHL teams? He wants to do OHL teams.
Is he a shit kicker?
It's funny.
I ask Otter. I go.
Oh, he is.
I go, Otter. Does he have it? And Otter knows exactly what I'm talking.
What do you say?
Fucking right. I'm like, okay.
So
that's it. That's all I need to know.
So one of the first practices we had for 6U this year, where it's like the end of the skate, and a kid was going down about the score or whatever, blah blah blah, and Maverick came from behind and kind of knocked him down.
Okay.
Otter looks at me and goes, "The kid's got fire, eh?"
That's what. Hey. Look, NHL guys, man, and Andy, I'm putting you in this category, although you are far from an NHL guy. But
I'm European, dude, and actually part Canadian. I'm a fourth Canadian.
Andy's the one guy in a different category that we kind of look at differently that knows the dudes enough to where he's part of the group. So I'll give you that. Although I look at your stature, you're weak looking.
No, what about some of these guys on Twitter that are...
What? What do you want me to say about them?
What do you say? Don't have to say the name.
Don't make me be a dick.
What are you saying?
I'm just saying.
Say what you said to me the other day.
What I say? I forget.
There's some people like on.
They think that they're played in the fucking NHL for fucking 20 years. They think that they're fucking the NHL. They think they're part of the fucking dudes, and there's not. There's not. You're just not. You're not. You didn't do it. You talked about them, but you didn't do it. Okay, just so you know, that's all good, and you make good money, and you're probably doing better than a lot of the guys that even played in the show that retired. I get that, but you're not part of that.
All right, a couple things we got to get into.
You made me say that.
Yeah, well, you had to say it.
I'm just saying.
Well, you said it the other day.
I don't care.
A couple things I want to get into.
I love all you guys
because it was a big story here on the Cam Strick Podcast during the summertime.
What?
Vladdy Tarasenko.
We're talking about him.
Just real quick. Just real quick.
What?
He's gotten off to a great start. He looks great.
Oh yeah,
he's happy.
Yeah, he looks good.
And all this talk about him still wanting to be. Just let him. I just want him to have his moment.
How about? Can I call you out now?
Yeah.
Why are people who we know who are going to listen to this thing? Why are they after Vladdy gets a fucking standing ovation a week ago?
You calling me out?
I'm calling you out. Why are people then all of a sudden right the next day saying he wants to get traded again?
Yeah. Oh, you're not calling me out. You're saying I see what you're saying.
Yeah. You stop confusing the listeners.
Because listen, I'm sure some listen,
and we know him,
and
we love him.
And I talked to Vladimir Tarasenko's agent. He's got a new agent. He doesn't talk to a whole lot of media. He's
weird about it.
Well, no, his background is different than most people, let alone agents. Do you know he took Tarasenko up to the high altitude in Vail and put him through like military training.
Good.
This offseason. No one knows that. I've been trying to save that. Yeah, now they do. Like he did some hardcore shit.
That's what you do. You do the military training.
Where you
fuck yeah.
shock your body almost.
Shock it like Navy SEAL style. Yeah. When they're laying in the fucking water like, blah, blah. We're like, I'm a fucking bad boy.
Apparently, of all the guys that were there, was just an absolute beast.
He's on it, homie. He's dominating, dude.
What's his final year numbers going to look like? You have a prediction?
I don't know.
You got something from my bookie? You got something from mybookie.ag?
He's going to score over 20 goals. I'll tell you that right.
20?
25? He might get 30.
He gets 30 this year. If he continues to play it the way he is right now,
he might get 40.
He's getting 6 chances a game, high end,
flying,
hitting posts, hitting crossbars.
Everybody bitches about, and I don't want to talk Blues that much. It is what it is. They're good.
Well, Kuznetsov, all these guys that people thought were going to be bad this year, whatever. All these guys, man.
I know. And the Blues are missing guys too. Who's
another one? I'm forgetting about another one.
Hey, here's the deal. Here's a bitch. Fucking COVID's rocking the NHL, homies.
Oh, dude.
And I don't like it.
Can I explain to you why that's happening?
Why the fuck?
Here's why it's happening.
Why, Andy?
It's very simple. Listen, sometimes you have to use common sense in your reporting.
If you say something stupid, I'll be fucking pissed.
Sometimes you have to use common sense in your reporting. You want to know why?
Go ahead. Don't be stupid.
You want to know why You want to know why it's rocking the NHL and why it's not going away?
They didn't listen to Dr. Fauci.
No.
What?
It has nothing. It's not about a lack of hand sanitizer stations and stuff like that.
Go ahead then.
And it's not the mask.
Don't fuck with me.
It's because they're testing every 3 days.
Is other teams? Oh, okay. What about NBA? They're not doing it.
I don't know what the NBA.
Well,
is
then,
doing.
No. That's the question. Then,
but NFL is, and players are coming on the COVID list all the time. The Green Bay Packers didn't have their best players available outside of the quarterback, but their best wide receiver and whatever.
So
because of
where's
COVID.
the NBA at? Why is the NBA, the NFL? They're not getting rocked like the NHL. They're all testing hardcore.
Well,
don't say
have
that.
One of our NBA listeners. Are they testing? What's the latest? What do we have? Can you read that? No, read that. It's like a teleprompter. All right, let's go down to Cam. Cam, what do you have?
Hi, I'm Cam. My hair sucks. The league told teams Tuesday that it's going to head with a plan where those are fully vaccinated against coronavirus will not need to submit regular testing. Those who are unvaccinated, what the fuck am I reading?
So basically,
they all get. Everybody's vaccinated.
Really?
Everybody's vaccinated. They're all vaccinated.
Except one player.
So who cares?
Tyler Bertuzzi, he's dominating. He'll be getting tested.
So here's the deal. Everybody's. I don't know what I read there because I don't
sounds
read
like
no good.
If you're double vaxxed, like Ryan O'Reilly, who's unavailable right now, Brandon Saw. There's been a bunch of guys. Nathan McKinnon was unavailable
double
earlier.
Vax, it's the same thing.
I mean, the San Jose Sharks just got rocked. Their coach,
what'd
bunch
you
of
just
players.
say? They're all double vaxxed.
Double vaxxed.
So what I just read there was what?
Dude, if I was a DJ, like if I worked in Vegas or something like late night at a club, that would be my DJ name, DJ Double Vax. Okay, that would be my no. That is my name. That is my name.
You're just like the fucking the hosts on the all the major media outlets. Like, oh, what's that old boy came out with a bunch of dudes dressed skimpy and like syringes.
What? I didn't see that.
He's like,
for Halloween?
No.
Who did that?
Never mind.
Dude, I'm DJ Double Vax. From now on, cool. I'd like you to
You're
call
not making
me
any
that.
money.
No,
you're hanging with the purple-haired folk. They're handing guns at Alec Baldwin. That's what you're gonna do. You're gonna hang with a 15-year-old purple-haired girl.
You have a take on that?
Are you out of your fucking mind?
What happened with it?
And it's so funny. And I'm not a gun enthusiast, but I have guns. I do have guns.
I told you to
listen to me.
I told you
no,
to keep
listen
the
to
gun
me.
away.
You motherfuckers, man. I'll tell you this right now. I'm not crazy gun. I'm not a cowboy, although I was the other day. But you anti-gun people are mostly actors that deal with weapons all the time in movies.
Prop guns.
Prop guns are all this. You have different.
That's not a real gun.
Andy, But stop,
I do know
stop.
this. I knew
you anti-gun motherfucker, and you have no idea the safety. You never point a gun at anybody, whether it's fake or any. You don't do it.
You point it at the camera.
Dude, the woman's right behind the camera filming it, you dummy. You don't do that until you check it. You're going to have a purple hair fucking 15-year-old girl who knows nothing about anything because her daddy worked, and you have to hire her because of reasons.
Damn.
And she gives you a fucking loaded gun that might have blanks, they have 15 guns. Stop it. They have 15 guns on the set. Okay, and the armorer, who's a 15-year-old, goes and hands Alec.
Farmer.
I said an armorer.
Oh, an armorer.
And that's they're on set. They're
Is
called
that the name of
armorers.
their?
Yes,
that's their title.
So they have a bunch of different guns. Some are loaded, some aren't. Okay. And Alec Baldwin's like, "Oh, give me a gun!" And you point at some woman and shoot it. Really? You're unacceptable, and you're an anti-gun guy, which I'm not a full gun guy. I don't care about AR-15. I just don't care. I have my guns to protect my family. But you have a gun, you automatically, the first lesson in safety.
Can I tell you a couple things?
What are you going to tell me?
Well, because Ty's got a couple of Nerf guns, and let me just explain to you my
You get my drift on that, Alec Baldwin, you psycho.
Okay, but you'll agree with me on this. When you have a revolver, which is what he had, when you look at it, you know if there's a bullet in the chamber, you can see it.
Yeah, that's how ignorant he is.
Yeah, I know.
So and you're an
what do you mean he
guy.
thought it was like blanks? Like you can see the bullet.
That's the part of it.
You think like there needs to be an investigation.
There is an
Well,
investigation.
you think he tried to kill her?
Hell no. He didn't try to kill her. Andy, you are
so what happened?
They're fucking stupid. That's what happened. This girl gave him a loaded gun. You don't point until you. Andy, stop.
Right, couple things I want to get into real quick.
Don't fire me up.
Yeah, couple things.
Nutbag. Nutbag, Alec Baldwin.
Weirdo. Things. Couple things I want to get into real quick because we haven't touched on it, and really on purpose because it's just kind of like it's just so disgusting on so many different levels, you know. But now, like with people getting fired and stuff like that, the whole Kyle Beach situation. We both know his brother. Listen, his brother was in the limo that I gave you back in the day.
I took care of him back in the day.
Yeah, and he was a tough guy. I remember writing stories about this guy when he was playing junior before he even came to the NHL. Oh yeah, I'm like he'd get like. Both actually, but Cody would get like 20 game suspensions, like crazy. Mango. And he would get like a ton of. He would get like he was always getting suspended, whatever. Now he's like an aspiring NHL referee, if you can believe that. So Kyle, he played junior hockey. I knew one of his coaches and whatever in the Western League and whatever. But
go ahead and ask me.
I will say this though, that everyone is kind of focusing on this and that because there's a lot of question marks. There's still a lot of questions that have not been answered. We know that. A lot of questions, but at the end of the day, this entire story is about one thing, and it's about the fact that Chicago didn't do anything about it. And they just get rid of this coach immediately. And listen, I talked to a source with the league. You know that.
I know you did.
Prior to
actually multiple.
Yeah, prior to Joel Quenneville's meeting with the league that day, it was actually that morning. We had a long conversation about this, and he basically let me know like he's not going to survive this no matter what is said during the meeting for the most part because at the end of the day, all they had to do is get rid of the coach.
Get rid of that
no matter what they thought happened or didn't happen, you just get rid of him right away. Yeah.
And I fucking beak Andy for a lot of things, as we all know we should. When it comes to talking to the big boys, I swear to God, he talks to all of them. He even cahoots with all of them. I don't even fuck with it. I don't even care. I don't. They don't even care. Andy talks to all of them. Just so you guys know, okay? I'll bash this motherfucker, but he talks to all the big boys. Now, when it comes to this, Joe Quenneville should get fired no matter what. Mm-hmm. And I love him, and you know that. I do. The Chicago Blackhawks fucked up on this.
Stan Bowman, too.
Stan Bowman, fucking right.
And John McDonough.
Here's where it gets...
Who no one even talks about that guy. He was the president.
Stupid.
He let everybody down. He's one of he fucked everybody over.
Fucking right.
Really.
Now, here's where it gets tricky. The players. Now they want Taze's captaincy off and shit like that. Okay, now hear me out on this. Those guys probably, they don't... When you're a black ace, you're separated from everybody. You're just separated, man. You don't even fucking hang out with the group. You just don't. Me and Erik
a lot of times you're practicing at a
different time.
Well, and the team is gone, right?
Andy,
especially during
you don't
the final,
travel with them.
During the Stanley Cup final, they are not
Andy,
on the ice with the team.
You have nothing to do with anybody on the team. Nothing. You don't even see the guys. Patrick Kane or Kaner and Taze, they don't even see those motherfuckers ever. That's not on them.
Can I give you an example to prove
what you're saying? Before I lose my focus.
Because I remember being in Boston during the Stanley Cup Finals, one of the early games, and I said to the PR guy, "Hey, can you go grab
somebody's not playing
Trent Frederick for me?"
They're like, he's not.
And they're like, "Oh, because he was a black ace."
Like, we don't.
And they're like, "He's skating at the other rink."
He's skating at the other rink. They're gone. Thank you. Yeah. They're gone. Okay, so the point is, when you're focused that much on hockey and stuff like that, and you hear a rumor that one of your top picks is hanging out with your video coach, and you're like, okay, that's weird. Your video coach does not hang out with players. Your coaches don't hang out. Now, Jeff Wright and Rubber and the Blues.
He's not a coach.
He's not a coach. He's a massage therapist.
Yeah. And
we hung out and we partied. He ain't. We partied, and that's fine. And that's still maybe frowned upon. Chaser was hanging out in the back of the plane when he was doing...
It's just like broadcasters who hang out, whatever.
Exactly right. Yeah. Chaser's in the back of the plane playing cards with us, stealing all my money. Yeah. And Doug Armstrong came on board and said, "No, Chaser, you can't come in the back of the plane." That's the way it was. Chaser did it with Larry Plow. He couldn't do it with Doug. And he shouldn't do it because he took all my money anyway.
Anything else you could do with Larry that you couldn't do with Doug? Anything else?
Oh, my word. But the point is... If Patrick Kane and those guys were in the locker room, they hear things like, why is our video coach hanging out with this fucking guy? Like, why is it it's kind of like awkward, but you're not going to be like, why are they doing it? You have the hierarchy take care of it. They know, that they know that they're hanging out or whatever, but did they know the extent of it? Now, here's my point. Do you think Joel Quenneville, Patrick Kane, Jonathan Taze, and even anybody else knew that, heard the story, Duncan Keith,
Seabrook,
that thought that this Aldridge, who's a psycho fucking jailbird that needs to be in jail. Monster. He's Sandusky, but 5 foot pussy fucking 7, you pussy. You think they're like, let's go Stanley Cup. Are you fucking crazy?
You think they're going to his door?
They are going to the door. Get him out of here.
Can I see my clips from last night's game?
Yeah, can I see my clip? Get the fuck out. They don't care about their video coach. They would have fired him in 2 seconds. They probably thought they were just hanging out, which is still weird. They should have fired him even if you're hanging out with somebody.
Just with the allegation that was brought up, they should have gotten rid of him
Gonzo
immediately.
In 2 seconds.
Yes.
But do you think they knew the extent of it, which we heard, which whatever. We don't know. Well, there's more to the story. There's no way, in my opinion.
My
no way.
Intuition or intuition would tell me that what they learned in the actual report from the investigation was certainly way more than anything they ever knew or whatever. I mean, because they didn't know the details of what went on and what took place at the apartment and whatever. So
here's what I think happened. I think they thought they were hanging out. I take that as what you want. I think they thought they're hanging out. What do you do? Okay, even then, you don't make a big stink out of it, but you're like, Brad, you don't ever hang out with our fucking players again. Don't party.
Wouldn't the players say that too? Like,
fuck yeah.
Can we get this weird video coach out of here too?
Video coach hanging out with our first rounder. Our pride.
Let me give you an example. Even
our
Steve Ott, who is an assistant coach with the Blues,
he's not allowed to talk to you. Hang out.
Well, no, I mean he was a player and went, pretty much directly into a coaching role, and he had a lot of friends on that team. A lot of people. Some were in his wedding. He was in some way. Yep. But you know what? When they got off the bus, the players went right and he went left.
Exactly. Boom. If you're hanging out with a player like that intimately in a weird way, meaning like not like I'm showing you video, more like you're hanging out and going to dinner and banging girls together. They're banging girls together. And then
was that in the report there?
Yes, it was. Okay. And there's girls that came out. There's a girl that came out and they talked about it.
I know she was.
So you're already at a different level friendship wise with this guy. Yeah. That's so far out of control. Mm-hmm. Even if before he touched him or anything like that, even if you're hanging out with girls together, you fucking. Man, I've seen guys get fired. Who cares about your video coach? If they would have fired him in the first, second, third, fourth, 10th round, doesn't matter. You're gone. No one gives a fuck. How's Taze doing? Right? Like, they don't care.
My only question throughout this whole thing, man, and again, Kyle Beach, man, he's been through an awful lot. I mean, he let it all out in that interview, whatever. I mean, he's, obviously they've got the lawsuit, and we'll see how everything kind of moves forward and whatever. Based on the details of the report, and he did go to some people. He went to like his skills coach. He went to like the team psychologist. Well, he was very bizarre and whatever. I don't know, but
that's what I want to know.
If he went to these individuals with the same gruesome details that were in this report, and basically held against his will, and was not permitted to basically leave. I'm just wondering why there was never any type of criminal investigation and why no one ever went to the authorities.
So you're 100% right.
And that's where, for anybody out there, if you feel like you've been wronged and you've been in this situation before,
put your foot down.
And let me say this, and if you feel like the people you work for, who are like your bosses, if they're not helping you, go to the police. Go to the authorities.
You're going to have leverage. Listen to me. I'm going to say this real quick. Because, look, there's more to the story than the Kyle Beach thing. Now, when it comes to the Aldridge stuff, that guy is a scumbag no matter what. He needs to be in jail. Yeah. He fucked up.
He should have never
now, the Kyle Beach
worked
thing,
for USA Hockey. He should have never worked for the high school.
But it doesn't matter.
That,
100%. But even it doesn't even matter. Yeah. They should have fired him anyway. Let me tell you parents something. My mom and dad just put this into my fucking soul as a kid. Mm-hmm. Don't you ever let anybody take advantage of you. Mm-hmm. Ever. I never did. Now, I have my own problems. You want to fucking get me on something, I'm going to get addicted to it in 2 seconds. Like I will. I'm an addict. I get it. I admit it. I'm an addict. That's my fucking... But when I was a kid, like my parents instilled this into my brain. If anybody touches you in a weird spot, you fucking tell me in 2 goddamn seconds.
Right
I
away.
would never... Even... No one owns you. And even when like I would hang out with hot girls back in the day and they'd be mean to me, I'm like, fuck this, bro. I'm done with her. Yeah. I don't give a fuck.
And we all know,
like, you just have it.
We've heard the stories,
Put
right?
your foot down.
Whether it's kids and a priest or whatever, or kids that are at like sleepaway camp, man. I mean, some people
always tell your mom and dad.
Some people have that ability. These monsters have that ability to climb into your head and control what you say, what you do, what you think.
You,
and
as
whatever,
a parent, then Andy, as a mother,
yeah.
as Ty, and little. Come on, the girls. If anybody threatens them. I'm going to kill your family. I don't give a fuck what kind of threat it is. You need to know that it's not acceptable, and you need to tell your dad. You need to tell whoever you're close with. You have to do that.
And he did do that. Like he went and told his skills coach, who's like a notorious skills coach there in Boston, whatever. And he went to
don't let it happen.
I think he told the
get out of there. Then
the team psychologist.
Get out,
whatever,
but get out of the situation. Yeah. And if you're worried about like, I'm going to let them rape me because I'm worried about people to know. Like, no, don't. That's the most devastating. Get out of there and talk to people.
Can you believe? And listen, I'm not saying anything people don't know, but can you believe that like John McDonough just did, like they let this guy work the next day? This video coach, like he's still there.
Well, what details did they know?
And see, that's the thing. It's like
they think they had a relationship.
Listen, I've known Joel Quenneville for a long time, and there's other people around the league that certainly know him better than I do. But I feel like I know him pretty well.
You do,
and I know him well enough to think this: that if he knew the details that we know today,
he would never let it happen.
Not only would he recognize what was wrong and whatever about what he did to this kid, but he wouldn't want this guy working in his same office or in his locker room around any players.
If somebody said it to you, I don't give a fuck. It's game 7.
They you would think that they would, and listen, there's team security that work with the Blackhawks too. Why was this never investigated criminally?
Thank you.
Because based on what he's saying in the report, the details of the report, that screams it's criminal.
And not to,
right?
This kid isn't a Swedish kid that's 19 years old that doesn't speak English. He's a cocky kid that was a first rounder that was beating up guys in juniors that was fucking ready to go. Listen to me, when you're a top pick going into training camp, you're the big dick. You're the one that gets your testing done first.
And listen, I recognize no matter size doesn't matter in this case in terms of like, you could be 6'7", 275 pounds and still have someone have more power than you and whatever.
Yeah, but
no,
like,
I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Let's go
you know,
then. Like, come on.
I know.
Like,
so I'm saying.
Can I say something real quick?
Abuse is like it's a tricky thing, man. In terms of that,
it is.
You know?
At a younger age,
sometimes you can just sit back and evaluate and say, "Okay, I'm going
to
use common sense here," and sometimes common sense doesn't even prevail. Well,
here's the point: like, as a first round pick like that, being a big dog your whole career, like you know who's has leverage on you, you know who doesn't. Cal Beach knew that this Brad Aldridge, who just got hired, who has nothing.
Well, that's
has no leverage on.
Hey,
him.
all the kids should know this,
especially
none. The high end.
No
kids,
one does.
The kids that are going to get drafted or end up in NHL training camps. You need to know the video coach does not have power over
nothing.
you. He cannot dictate. Now he could certainly share information if you're doing some dumb shit.
Well, don't do dumb shit then.
Right?
Then that's on
with
you.
the head coach and the GM be like, I just saw this kid doing some dumb shit. Yeah, but that's just like our
trainer too.
So he has influence, but at the same time, if he's doing something to you inappropriately or something that shouldn't be done,
it's like, oh, I saw you drinking last night.
Don't feel like he has your control or he has your career so in the palm of his hand.
I know it's easy to say this, and I know it's easy when you're an alpha male and stuff, and you're like, yeah, okay, it's easy for you, Cam. Well, yeah, I know. Now, a lot of things aren't easy for me, man. You put something in my face, like I'll get, like I got my problems, man. We all do. This is a different. Yeah. But when you're a kid, like you just have to tell them, like you as a parent, you have to tell your kids, nobody has leverage over you. You always tell your mom and dad.
So we feel for everybody, man.
Always.
And certainly in the case of Cal Beach, man, it is the fact that he was, willing to come forward, tell a story, share his name, all of that. And I just think, at the end of the day, I feel like there's still more to come with this story. And I think we're still, just getting there in terms of, pulling back the layers, the onion, if you will. What do you think about Donald Fear?
He fucked up too, man.
He should be out too?
I mean,
players are meeting with him, and,
I think that they should be out more than Taze and Kane. Mm-hmm. Taze and Kane are like, what happened? Wait, what? Isn't that your job? My job's to score fucking goals. He's not on the team. Just because his name, he's not on the team.
He's not on the team.
Andy.
And people need to understand that.
He
was not on the team.
In St. Louis,
he was not on the team. Yeah.
Thank you. Because I'm on the radio today.
And
they're like, well, he was on. No, he wasn't.
No, because you're a black ace and you're a first-round pick. I think that year, he probably was in training camp that year. But regardless, he played. He finished the season, played 4 games, I think, in the American League. Then he got called up as a black ace.
Not on
they're in the midst of a Stanley Cup run.
The players aren't thinking
I don't even
That's
think
not their
they're
job.
even paying attention to who this guy is at that stage of the playoffs.
Thank you. Okay, so my point
or interacting with him and whatever.
If you're a captain of a team,
although some guys have come out and said, like Brent Sopel and these, that everybody knew. I mean, so fine.
Yeah, what'd you know though? But what'd you know then, Brent? Did you tell the cops? Didn't tell the cops. When did he come out?
Or the team security.
Or the team something. He's raping people? How do you not even... now you talk about it?
Right.
And I like Soaps, and I like all those guys. Mm-hmm. But it's like, as a captain of the team, you're in charge of the guys you're around. Like, you're in the locker room, you're sitting down, like, you're looking, this is my team. Those guys have nothing to do with anything. They're just there, really. It's actually the most miserable fucking thing in the world to be a black ace.
Right.
You don't even want to be one. You don't want to be one. You're not part of the team. So when you tell Taze needs to get his captaincy stripped away from him, I had to kind of
Were you
put
ever
my
a black
foot down
ace?
on. Fuck yeah.
Okay, so you can speak from that.
Well, fucking right. Me and Bolts, we were on the team all year. And during our Stanley Cup run 2012, Bolts and I had to be the leaders of the Black Aces. But we were still, I was giving speeches in the team.
Were you on the ice with the team for a morning skate and stuff like that?
Fuck no.
Oh, you weren't.
Fucking no. And he was on a one-way contract. We both weren't.
Between games, practice days, you weren't on the ice with the team?
We didn't even see him.
Okay, Bolton either?
No, we hung out with him because we were friends with everybody.
Right.
But if I was not 6, 7, 8 years
you weren't
in the league,
participating in practice.
Not even nothing.
Yeah,
and
I just feel like it's just such a...
You don't see the guy, it's miserable.
It's such a terrible, terrible situation.
So my point is, I don't think Patrick Kane, whether you could tell he beat up a cabbie, whatever, okay, fine. You want to call him a dick? I don't care. I don't even know him that well. He hasn't come on the podcast yet, so I don't give a fuck.
Well, he ain't coming on now.
No, yeah, he will. I just pumped him a little. I'm sticking up for
No,
these
I'm not
guys.
saying that. I'm just saying, like...
Well, they got COVID now.
Well, he probably did. Because, again, they're testing every 3 days, and now they're not testing, apparently. I think they're like, okay, we got to stop testing.
Somebody said today on my radio show, they texted in, I get... And they're like, it's funny how Taze went out for a year once this started popping up. and we don't even know what happened to Taze. So that's a conspiracy theory, but it's like, okay. It just woke my eyes up. I'm like, okay.
I don't know. That's a little too much.
Okay, is it too much?
I mean, I don't know.
I don't know either. Andy, I'm not saying it.
I know.
You know how these guys, I get 50 text messages.
I want to make one thing clear, though, and I don't want anyone to think, like, because Cam and I are pretty sensitive people in this, we take, like, sexual abuse, like, very serious.
I mean.
Very serious.
No, fuck
and
me.
I am never going to sit here, and I'll speak for you here. You can speak differently if you want to, but we're never going to sit here and blame the victim. And that's not what we're doing here in this particular case. I want people to know that.
Well, never. But we're also realists, too. And we look at everything, and we know he's a bad guy. But in this particular situation, when you want to blame a lot of guys, and they deserve it, as far as Quenneville, I'm just saying, I don't think the guys and the coaching staff knew the extent of
typically you remove a coach that is a danger to be around other people or kids or whatever.
That's the easiest.
Whether it's somebody who used racial slurs like we've seen in the past, other coaches who have exhibited physical abuse towards his players, whether it's
verbal
kicking
abuse,
place, the
matter.
verbal abuse, whatever. Like you eliminate those people from the equation.
100%.
In the case of Joel Quenneville, that was not the situation. He's one of the greatest coaches in the history of the game. And, the reality is this is going to be attached to him forever, and you just wonder if he'll ever even going to be able to recover from it.
I just don't think he knew the extent of it. I just don't.
Well, because you feel like knowing his character and the fact that he is so respected throughout the league, and he has been for a long time, that if he knew those details,
he would have been like, "We're done. You're done."
You would think that he would say, "Get this guy the hell out of here."
And you know what we're going to do? I'm going to get that 18-year-old fucking girl.
And he's calling the police.
I'm going to get that fucking 18-year-old girl that just graduated college or 20, and she's going to press stop and start on every fucking shift. Like, you could find a replacement for that
video.
Fuck boy.
It wasn't a situation like, okay, we're going to overlook what he did because we need the video coach here throughout the course of the Stanley Cup Finals. Remember, in the case of Joel.
Good point on that.
In the case of Joel. Like, he is a parent, too. He's got kids.
He is, I know.
He had kids that age. He had kids who were younger. Like, so
I just can't see it, man.
He's not a monster in this particular case.
But he fucked up.
But he made a major mistake.
No doubt.
Just like Stan Bowman.
Yes, he did.
Who essentially, you go down the chain of command. This guy, John McDonough, I mean, I'm talking about going after his severance and whatever. I mean, listen, he's the president. Once he heard this, he should have taken it upon himself. Yes, he's the head of the organization.
Thank you.
Like, that's your job. Yes. You get rid of the guy. You say, I don't care what you want, Joel. I don't care what you want, Stan. I don't care what any of you guys want. This guy's done. He's out of here.
Fucking weirdo. You're hanging out with our players. Get the fuck out of here.
How about his files, like, missing? Like, the coach's file, like, they can't even find it.
Oh, Andy.
You know what I mean?
Andy, it's so weird. I just
wonder these guys that did like the Malice and the Palace documentary, who also did the Trashers.
Great documentary.
Can you get on this case?
Let's go.
Let's get on this.
Let's go.
What don't we know? There's a lot of questions we don't have answers to. And people are quick to like reach out and like just bash Gary Bettman in his press conference and whatever. I haven't had a chance to really watch it yet, so maybe I'll think differently afterwards.
I don't give a fuck about that.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, let me say something.
Well, unless they knew, but.
You should know then. As Gary Bettman, all the hierarchy, go fuck yourself. Even Joel, I'm not going to lie to you. I love Joel Quenneville. Go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
You should have fucking fired him. I'm talking about Taze and Kane, who I don't give a fuck about, to be honest with you. I like those guys. They're fine. What are they going to do for us? Are they making us fucking money? Or are they going to help me with my wife? Well, are they going to fucking puppies?
Time out.
No. Are they going to puppy sit me?
He is making.
No, I don't give a fuck.
They are making me money. They are making
puppy sitting my fucking dogs? No, I don't give a fuck about it. But I'm going to stick up for them a second here. I don't think that they knew. I think that they're like, these guys are hanging out. It's bizarre. Do something about it, hierarchy. I got shit to do. This is my fucking job. Yeah. So if you want to strip his cap,
keep in mind,
that's what I'm saying.
This meeting took place.
I'm just saying
right after they just beat San Jose in the conference final, and they were just about to embark on the Stanley Cup final.
I'm just saying,
but they do make me money on like my bookie and stuff like that because I bet against Chicago all the time right now.
Well,
Chicago they can't win a damn game.
So you guys get my drift on this because it's very sensitive, and I don't want to be out of line. Everybody should be fired. The hierarchy, get the fuck out. I love some of you guys. I do. Joe Quenneville, I do. You're always good to me, man. You fucked up. I fucked up before. I get it, homie.
You never fucked up like this.
I mean,
no,
I fucked up in ways.
Well, you in different ways.
And I got.
There's different things you've done.
You want to tell my parents I didn't fuck up when I overdose in front of them.
I understand that, but I'm just saying, like, this is I'm just talking about something that's as this public and whatever.
You're okay. But I'm just saying with the players.
Should he have coached that last game, Quenneville?
Fuck no. Nah, get out of there. Nope, Andy. I was thinking about it, man. We talked about this. Now, get out. Just do the right thing. Can
I ask you a question?
Here's why. Because if your fuck boy video fuck nerd coach fucking hangs out with your first rounder and is banging, get the fuck out of here. You press start and you press stop. You fuck.
Well, that's a little.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But, I don't mean. I'm just trying to be.
But you know what?
Andy,
here's like, Andy. Maybe you. I'm sure like their American League team or something that has like a video guy or like a coach who does video down there. You say, hey, for the next 2 weeks during the Stanley Cup final, guess what? Now you're the video guy.
Now you got to cut the clips. Yeah. They tell you what clips to cut. Yeah. They're watching all the games. Yeah. Some people are like, Cam, well, how do you? The video coach watches and they could take his clips and make it bad. I go, what? I go, motherfucker, what? You think the video coach is going to compromise a player that played good all day and they're going to pick clips out where he toe pick? Are you fucking dumb? The fucking coaches pick out the clips and the video coach just does the dirty work and says, here, press play. Here. You think the video coach is like, you got to do this. He never played.
But I will say this. Anybody who knew and did nothing
out of here.
Should be out of here. And that includes Donald Fear, man.
I agree with you. Andy. See where I'm at with my leverage on this?
And if Gary Bettman knew...
Andy, I'm not lying to you.
Like, how are you going to fire everybody else and not fire yourself?
Andy, great point. So here's my point.
But I'm saying if. I don't know what he knew and what he didn't know. He obviously is saying he didn't. I mean, they're saying they just learned about specific...
I'm just saying about
the specific incident,
I'm
whatever.
sticking up for the players for once.
When the report came out.
I'm sticking up for the players for once. This is not the player issue. He's not he's not in the locker room every day.
But I've even had former players say, what about the players?
I know. Well, so I'm sticking. This is how I think about it. I'm like, I don't think they knew anything. I think they're like, why are these guys hanging out all the fucking time?
Yeah, but why were they like making fun of them and stuff like that?
Well, because they're like, hey, do you hang out with our video coach?
Yeah.
They're probably like, why'd you guys hang out? So like, finally, they probably like mismatched and went on the ice at the same time one day, and they're like, how's the video coach? Which would be like a great question. Why you hang out with the fucking video coach? How about the other Black Aces? Can't you hang out with them? You're hanging out with the video fucking coach till fucking 4 o'clock in the morning with girls? That's weird. So if you did skate with the guys, they're probably like, what the fuck you guys doing?
There's other stuff in there, like with like Black Ace 1 and whatever in the report, like, I mean, he even had a player come to a hotel room in San Jose with a female masseuse in there who did a little, extra, happy ending favor for him and stuff like that. Well, it was in the report. Well, so I mean, he was just a weird,
get rid of all
like, whatever, like even for that. Even for that,
it's so easy. This is the bad part.
He should have been out of there. How could they not know what was going on? What this video coach was doing?
What are you doing? You're the video coach, and you're hanging out with guys.
But even like some of the email, you saw some of the stuff that the
underage drinking,
the team psychologist or whatever. And there's so many different players in the story. I apologize if I'm getting this one wrong. I don't think I am, but like the team psychologist and stuff who was like sending emails to the players in an effort to get them comfortable, so they would like talk, like would send like weird like.
Wait, what?
Oh yeah, he would like say the team psychologist would make jokes and stuff like that. Maybe that would be deemed inappropriate in a lot of the communication he would have with his players in an effort to get them comfortable to talk to him about certain things or whatever.
What?
So this guy's weird too.
Oh fuck me! Get him on. Can we do something about him, please? Get them.
All these guys.
Look, we're not condoning him. He is the devil. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying, in this particular situation, it might be a little different. And the players are probably like, what the fuck? I got shit to do. Yeah. What are we doing?
And then,
I don't even know this kid.
And then USA Hockey.
I don't even know the kid.
We love Billy Guerin, too. I don't know what took place. And now they want to bash Billy. It's like, I don't know what took place. I mean, like, I have no idea. We heard some stuff about that story or whatever, but USA Hockey, it's like they probably should have thought that through with what was going on because Stan Bowman's like, okay, now he's not our GM. Let's not assign the guy who was just involved with something else.
Billy's got his own shit he's got to deal with.
Let Billy stay as assistant GM right now, just to avoid all the or whatever. Get Lou.
Why wouldn't you have Lou?
Yeah.
What has he done? besides steal Scott Stevens. What are you going to say about that?
He did. Well,
You
they should kick him out of the league for that. For
like that
what
happen?
he did, not letting the players wear beards and stuff like that.
Do you think Lou let anything happen like that? I mean, I don't know.
Lou? Oh, my God.
Dude, I told you, we fired our trainer.
For what?
You didn't hear about this? Mm-mm. He was stealing some coin from the slush fund, homie.
Oh, really?
I was a 20-year-old kid.
Like the team emergency fund?
We also...
the fines and stuff?
A lot of that money was mine.
Well, I'm sure.
You know. Because they fined me all the fucking time.
For what? Like being late?
You out of your stupid fucking mind. Don't ever say it again.
Were you late? What were you getting fined for?
Who knows?
What's
bets and things.
Shift length?
No, nothing has anything to do with affecting the game. Mm-hmm. It was more like, I bet you can't do that, for the fine fund or something. I would be in.
What?
I was the.
What are you getting fined for? Can you answer the question?
Cam, go talk to those girls and bring them over here. I bet you can't do it. I bet you I fucking
can.
I bet you I fucking can.
It's not management who finds you.
No, it's the boys. The boys. Go find those girls. I bet you can't bring them up. I'll fucking bet you $500.
That's a $500 fine.
$500 down the fucking drain because the girls told me to go fuck myself.
And what are you just giving them cash?
Oh fuck yeah! You can't. Every 2 weeks you have to pay up your fine fund. They'd write it down. So my point is, he stole gone in 2 seconds. Yeah. Right before we made the playoffs. So listen, gone in 2 seconds.
I think basically, this thing is so disturbing.
It's so bad.
They've made some right decisions.
So
they've made some. They've.
It makes me mad.
But there continues to be. I think some questions that are just still left unanswered. I don't think the story's going away anytime soon. All right, Jay McKee on this edition of the Cam Strick Podcast. They call him Cheese. I don't know if you knew that or not. They call him Cheese, and he was a big shot blocker, and occasionally would lay a big hit. I remember he had a hit against Mark Parrish. He kind of signed that big ticket here with the Blues, and it didn't necessarily work out for anybody. It worked out for Jay because he made a lot of money and whatever. Got bought out. But then ended up going on to Pittsburgh, whatever, finishing his career. Now he's coaching in the OHL, and listen, he's on track to probably eventually get into the NHL. Certainly will get there as an assistant coach, and who knows, maybe he'll be a head coach one day.
Cheesy Weezy,
Played a long time. Very respected in Buffalo.
Love him.
All right, so we get into so many hilarious stories here. Yeah. He was great. Maybe starts off a little bit slow, whatever, but it really picks up, so give us some time. Yeah. Trust me, it gets amazing. But for those who don't remember, those who are people who live in Saskatchewan or wherever they live, they don't remember Erik Johnson tearing his ACL, I think, after his first full year in the NHL. And don't forget, Erik Johnson was the former first overall pick, was supposed to be the next Al McInnes here in St. Louis.
First top 10 pick the Blues had since 80s.
Oh yeah, yeah. So I think the first
it's a big deal.
First overall pick they ever had, really.
Yeah, but even at top 10,
and he was like a consensus number one.
Yeah,
I know there's other players in that draft who have had great years and whatever. Yeah, I mean, yeah.
They need a defenseman.
Big Walt, you should chirp him. We should have drafted Taves.
I know in the locker room.
So anyway, but a big story, one of the biggest stories in the history of the Blues, really, was when Erik Johnson tore his ACL.
Yeah.
Just right before the beginning of training camp or beginning of the regular season, whatever it was.
Yeah.
And it was a huge loss. And like I said, so many expectations and so much pressure on the shoulders of Erik Johnson because he was supposed to be the next. Like Al McInnes had just retired. You get this first overall pick. He was a phenom in, certainly coming up through the U.S. program, then played at Minnesota for a year. Yeah, Pronger had just gotten traded. So, he was supposed to be the next one. Tears his ACL.
Ask me the question.
And no one had really publicly talked about the story. We had talked about it privately a little bit.
Yeah.
And what's interesting is the foursome that, he tore his ACL playing golf, messing around in golf carts, whatever. In that foursome was Jay McKee, Dan Heinold, and Cam Janssen with Erik Johnson.
Yeah.
And so for the first time, and let me ask you this, based on the story that Jay shares with us, is that it? Is that everything? Or is there stuff that's still left out?
All right. People bug me on the radio to talk about. I tease it on the radio.
And you've never talked about it publicly.
Never talked about it publicly. Never, ever, ever. I respect Al. I respect, the guys. And I just didn't know.
He was living with Al McInnes at the time.
Yeah. And you know how much I respect Al. I don't want to, I got guys in my rule book that I just
Can you give me like 5 of them?
Army's one. Al's another one. Mm-hmm. Tom Stillman's another one. Lou's fucking another one. And then my parents and Kate.
Am I...
Andy, I don't give a fuck. But I do, because you're my businessman, and, it is what it is. But you are in there, but you're in a different category. But this whole situation was, we look, Jay McKee was a good buddy of mine. I was a young kid. I was fun. Dan Heinert was
How old were you?
I was 23, 4.
Really?
Cheese was a little bit older. Dan, I like to hang out with the older guys. I like to hang out with the guys when I'm Heine. And we got this fucking bus. Manny Legacy set this up in Lake of the Ozarks. And we picked our foursome out. Me, Cheesy, Danny Hino, and EJ was part of my group, right? We're the young kids. EJ wanted to hang out. It's my town. I'd take EJ everywhere with me. Mm-hmm. He was fun, although when he, I had to put him to bed once in a while. But he was my boy. I loved him.
Yeah.
I loved him. I love him still. And then we went down to Lake of the Ozarks. We're partying the whole way down there. And we get to Portachima, which is so fucking...
The golf course. So you don't have to tell the whole story. I'm not saying, is there anything
what do you ask me?
Is there anything that was left out that was... Because he tells the story.
We were the last ones to go. Okay, we let everybody else go in front of us. And we're having fun, man. We didn't give a shit
destroying the golf course.
Yeah,
and so were you playing... Were you guys jousting and stuff like that? Were you playing were you guys crashing into each other?
We were jamming out. We were having fun.
The situation could have been avoided.
We knew 100%. We knew that if we tore golf, we'll take care of it. We'll pay for whatever. Yeah. So we're saying there you go. No, we're going to take care of whatever happens.
Yeah.
You pay for the green. It doesn't matter. Yeah. And I was a young kid. I didn't understand golf.
Did you have to pay? You had to pay some fines, right?
You had to pay some
for repairs.
Yeah.
How much each player?
I don't know.
You don't remember. You can. I mean, you're like the last person I should be asking that. You can't remember anything.
At that age, I didn't give a fuck. I'm like, what do you need? But we just let everybody go, and we're down there to have fun. I grew up down there, so I'm kind of like.
Oh, did you? You grew up down there
in Lake of the Ozarks? Yeah, I did. I was conceived down there, according to my parents. They're probably tripping acid at the time, but it is what it is. But we're partying, we're cruising around, just fucking off. We weren't all golf. We didn't play golf at the time. I had no idea. I didn't know golf etiquette at the time.
Well, you still don't.
Yes, I do now. I'm on a lovely course, homeboy, just so you know.
It's ranked number 11th, I think, last time I checked. I looked at
Missouri,
the polls.
That's not bad. I mean, that is what it is. But we were just chilling, and we're just getting a little rowdy. We're doing crazy things.
So it got a little rowdy. So Jay gets into the story, and he tells some other stories,
and he said that I don't want to ruin it.
No, you don't want to ruin it.
We kind of went at, and then EJ gets hurt. Yeah. And he explains it, and I think that's somewhat right.
Okay. Well, we can talk about some of it in the close, too.
So when Jay explains it, it's kind of right what we were doing. It was kind of right, where he put his foot down or whatever. But we were both racing down the fairway.
Yeah, I remember JD saying that. Well, everybody's done that. You just you're stopping and you put your foot out and just.
He might have been kicking me a little bit, but it's all good. I was in the passenger side.
Were you in the cart with him?
No, I was in the other cart. We're racing down the fairway.
Who was in his cart?
Jay.
Oh, Jay was in his car.
Yeah, idiot. Yeah. So you have 2 and 2. Yeah. Can you not do the fucking math?
Well, 2 and 2 is 4. That's so you were with Danny Hino.
Yeah, and he's driving. And maybe EJ might be kicking me, and maybe his foot got caught in the cubby.
Oh, my God.
And we turned, and he flipped down, blah, blah, blah. And once he got hurt, we're so fucked up. We're like, And he's like, I go, what the fuck? I go, get up! I kick him. He's screaming. And I'm like, oh.
Well, we talk about that during the
all right, what do we do?
Well, I'm just saying.
Well,
I don't want
to. Okay, so then.
No, we don't want to we want people to listen to the
That's
interview.
all good, baby.
Yeah. So you know what I'm saying? I just didn't know if there was anything that wasn't shared that Jay shared.
Well, we almost hired a helicopter.
Okay, well, he talks about that. So,
well, I don't remember.
Okay.
Don't ask me things, and then what the fuck?
All right, so let's get to the interview.
That's how it goes.
Okay, because the Cam Strick Podcast presented by Hair Club.
Yes.
Is brought to you by CarShield as well.
Yeah.
CarShield.com, 800-857-2481. Mention the promo code CAM. I know it's embarrassing, but you'll save 10%.
Why?
So that's why I tell you, you'll save 10%. Mention that promo code. Again, 800-857-2481. And they are great people. They are here to protect you. They're here to take care of you. You never know when anything is going to go down. I mean, it could be your computer, it could be the engine, alternator, brakes, whatever. We're talking thousands and thousands of dollars, potentially, like serious money that you just don't have right now that you could use for other things that are more important in your life. True. So again, they take care of you, and they let you take your car to wherever you want to have it serviced. You pick the mechanic, and they hook you up with a rental car, Cam. I mean, honestly, what else do I need to say about this place?
Nothing. They're the best of the best, baby.
The best. Car
they
Shield.
Hooked me up.
Yes, they did. Because you were careless.
No, my engine went out. Or no, my
Your
starter.
Yeah, you should have known that.
Careless.
Yeah.
Was I supposed to oil it that day?
Well, I don't know.
No, you're not supposed to.
Bellman.com.
Yeah.
BEHLMANN.com. Troy, Missouri. What does that mean, 3/4 ton?
It means it's a big fucking truck, Andy. You don't get a 1 ton unless you're dropping
What are you going to
concrete
put in your truck?
My wife and the dogs and my livelihood, meaning I could have a 3/4 ton diesel. I know gas is high, but I'm going to go up there Grand Tetons. I'm going to have I'm going to buy these badass things that you put in the back of your pickup truck. I'll have inflatable mats back there. I'll have a cool thing, and we're going to camp out in the back of our truck.
What about a electric car? Would you ever want like an electric car, that you plug in?
Am I in California?
You have to be in California for that.
Go plug your fucking
Buick
car in.
GMC on one side of the street. The other side, they got the Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram.
Where are you going to plug it in at?
In my garage.
Oh, yeah.
You buy a thing for it, yeah you just buy your own little plug.
Hey, where's the power plant? So we saving energy? How are they making
the only thing that would
No. How are they making the power on those electrical cars?
The only thing that would
wait,
saving
what?
fuel.
Where? Oh yeah. How's that power plant?
Well, I don't know.
How is that?
Somebody explain it to me.
How's that fucking power plant doing?
People who
that fucking brings the energy for the electric cars. How's that doing?
Don't ask me. People out there driving Teslas, they'll explain it to us. Somebody reach out to us. Explain the benefits.
Yeah, do that.
And the only thing that scares me is because if I'm driving and it's late at night and I'm on a road trip and I need gas. And you got to make sure you stop at a place that has those things.
It's ridiculous.
And then it takes 30 to 45 minutes or something like that to plug in. You can't just get the gas and go. And you may be in a bad neighborhood. I've stopped to get gas at bad neighborhoods before.
How's that? How are they
and
charging
I am
these places?
very tough, actually.
Where are they getting the energy to charge these batteries?
I don't know. Save it for another show.
You're right. Who cares about that?
Save it for another show.
Keep talking about electric cars.
Well, somebody else. Tell me about the Tesla. Tesla.
Where are they getting the energy from? The sky?
Well, the universe.
Save
Bellman.
the planet.
Kenny Bellman.
Great guy.
Yes.
Great guy.
Danny Bellman.
Great guy.
We're getting together with him very soon.
Yeah, what's he want? Let's go.
We're just going to chill.
Can we
hang out? Yeah, he just wants to hang out.
Can I drive some car? I want to see what they got. Honestly, I'm looking at some shit.
I know. Me too, actually.
I want to do a video.
I need one of those GMCs.
I want everybody to know how easy it is to go up there, how sweet everybody is, how comfortable it is to bring your girl there.
Yeah, in 5 seconds, explain the customer service real quick.
No swinging dicks.
Okay. Is that
none?
Is that the motto?
There's no swinging dicks.
Is that the motto
Andy,
they go by?
How much more do I have to fucking say?
Yeah, okay. Well,
we
love
15
Bellman.
fucking lots of every car you can pick out. Yeah. There ain't no swinging
I
dicks.
want a Jeep Wrangler too, actually. Take those doors out.
You 16-year-old woman. You're a 16-year-old
Come
girl.
on,
You're a
man.
16-year-old fucking girl in all-girls school.
They are sweet.
I have a Jeep. I'm going off-road.
They're
Where you going?
pretty sweet.
Why the fuck, if I'm a dad,
hey, they're sweet.
I'm going to give my daughter a Jeep to go off-roading in? Why the fuck would I want my daughter, who doesn't even know how to drive anyway, to go off-roading in a Jeep?
Okay.
Yeah, get one, Andy.
Okay, here we go.
You are a daughter.
Yeah, I'm a daughter.
You are.
Okay, Bellman.com. Local legend, baby.
Great guy.
Dude, I've got some stuff for both of you, for Brody and you. I've got hats.
Then
hoodies,
give me it,
hoodies,
Andy.
Hats.
Jesus,
well,
you always say
I didn't
this.
come from home, so I'll have it for you guys next time. They've got all these new hats. At Be a Local Legend on Instagram. www.bealocallegend.com. That's their website. Dude, they've got tons of different stuff, man. Honestly, he's bigger than I thought he was. This guy, Ryan Weber.
He is.
Super legit. They're a legit company, man. Local legend clothing company. The apparel is so nice.
Fantastic.
I mean, they got a bunch of stuff, but their hats, their hoodies, T-shirts.
I know. I got to hook Patty
that
up.
material that
Patty
you want.
Maroon.
You're gonna hook them up.
I know. He just had a kid.
Oh yeah.
He's doing his thing. I'm like, give me your fucking address. I'm sending you all this shit. And he's like, fuck yeah. He saw the stuff. He's like, yeah, I'll hook that up. Yeah. He's the local legend, by the way.
I know.
I'm bottom of the totem pole compared to him.
Yeah, you are.
And you're,
compared to all of us.
So if I'm there, then if you can go to there's a crater in Russia where they dug for oil.
Oh really?
And it's 10 miles deep.
What, Barbershop tell you about this?
No, I told myself. He probably didn't even know.
Costin tell you?
It's 2 miles deep, and that's where you're at.
Oh,
okay. So I had to let you know factual things where you're at.
We like facts
when it comes to the the totem pole.
Yeah, no, we appreciate that.
People that like
we appreciate that.
Relativity.
So anyway, so check that out. They've got lots of other stuff too. They've got the all the different like barware.
Great stuff.
Glasses, wine glasses.
And if you touch those glasses too,
I was drinking out of the pint glasses last night on Halloween. Yeah. No, I was drinking vodka last night. I pretty much stick to that.
What'd you eat last night? What'd you eat?
We had the nacho. We had the nacho bar.
What kind of pussy shit did you eat? Go ahead, explain.
Those
poor fucking
we got
kids.
very aggressive. It was the nacho bar.
With what? Fake meat?
Squash soup, fresh bread.
Gross. Squash soup.
Cool. Broccoli cheese.
Cream of nothing.
Soup, I think. Cream of nothing.
Cream of some young guy.
Broccoli.
You like
that? Never heard of that.
Cream of some young guy?
Is that like an Asian dish?
You'll like it. You'd like it.
Okay.
You'll like it.
You
never seen Wayne's World?
No. Oh, and I have seen Wayne's World. Great movie.
Cream of some young guy?
No, broccoli cheddar soup.
Yeah, it's good.
We had.
Look, I ain't going to your house for fucking broccoli.
Chili,
I go to fucking Panera.
Chili.
With what in it?
A lot of stuff.
Just beans.
Lots of different.
And air.
Well, lots of different beans. You got
beans and put more beans in there. The beans are the most useless part of the fucking shit. Put the meat in that.
That's not true. And my seasoning is just.
I bet.
Like I'm thinking about entering my chili. Actually, you want to have a chili cook-off, dude?
Yeah. For what? Vegans?
Well, let's have a competition.
Cool.
I would win a competition with that.
You and your fancy folk out there, like, I don't like us. There's too much meat.
And I put a bunch of stuff on the Traeger. I put some stuff on the Traeger.
There's too much meat.
I use my own personal, rubbing sauce, whatever the powder,
sure
the rub.
I'm sure it's great.
Yeah. So I had a lot of stuff. That's what makes me a local legend too. When I'm on the Traeger, that's when I'm in my element. Mm-hmm. Okay. And I'm a European hockey player too.
Your neighborhood sounds the most boring place in the fucking
league. Listen, I didn't even realize that until earlier today, talking about my European. That explains everything. Actually,
you got a 4.0 fucking nerd boy that hasn't done shit yet.
100% on the ACT.
I got a bunch of fucking fancy lads like I don't eat meat. I'm electric car. I'm like let me come to your house for a party. Fuck
we're coming this weekend to your house though. By the way,
come on by. Homie.
Yeah, I told you.
You're the one guy that hasn't come out of my house yet.
We're coming this weekend.
You're the one dude.
We're bringing all the kids too. So just we're bringing Blay. So. If
you bring the kids, they might be in a jam, homie. My place ain't fucking kid friendly.
Well,
they might open a drawer up and get into
it's all good.
No, it's not.
We're bringing Blay.
Andy, it ain't.
Hey, the Ranger fans love Sammy Blay, by the way.
As they should.
Number 91. He looks good as a 91. Anyway, so
kind of.
Local legend. Check that out. We talked about my custom sports chair already. Cam finally put his chairs together. Did you do it yourself? You had to hire somebody.
Can I say something real quick?
Because I'm very handy.
And this might be controversial.
I put together a fire pit yesterday.
I'm in ways I'm slow, but when it comes to directions and putting things together, I am so bad. I get so mad. I hate it, but I did it.
Yeah,
and it looked fucking.
I just
good.
don't have the patience. My brain gets tied in a knot. I start losing control of the situation.
I start calling people. And I gotta call my fucking neighbors.
And did they come over and help you? Because it's very easy to assemble.
My
it's
wife,
about the easiest thing you could ever assemble. By the way,
Andy. Well, that's what I mean. Yeah. That's my point.
Mm-hmm. And you were able to do it.
No, my wife helped me.
Oh, did she?
Yeah. So bad. I'm fucking bad at things, man. God help me.
So, Cam and Strick 20.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Cam and Strick 20. Take advantage of that because this deal will not last long. But you got to get your orders in right now. They've got the Cam and Strick chairs too.
Dude.
Those are sick.
It looks sick.
I know.
The women folk were
I had some people reach out today and say, hey, how can I get one of those? I've shown you the USA Hockey ones. No, your wife already said how great it looks.
She said your hair looked fucking sexy in that. And I go, how's my hair look? She goes, well, his hair looked good. Well, I go, how dare they?
Hair club, baby.
How dare they?
Hair club.
You look good in that mug.
Yeah, thank you.
You do. Your face is good.
Is it?
Your body's not.
I don't know if you can say that. I don't know if that's accurate.
Andy, I can say a lot of things.
I don't know if that's very accurate.
If we go broke, we go broke. But I'm saying that.
So anyway, all right, my bookie. What's the team you see, Cam, where you say mybookie.ag, by the way?
Yeah.
Mybookie.ag, promo code Cam Strick. They double your money.
Yeah.
Cam Strick, there's no and in it. Listen, we need to tell. I got to tell people. You got to sign up right now. You put $1,000 in, they're going to match it. You're going to have $2,000. Yeah. So they double whatever you put in up to $1,000. If you put $500 in, you get $1,000. So it's that simple. But when I see teams like Chicago right now,
I'm putting money on them.
I'm putting money on it. To lose.
I'm putting money to win.
Chicago?
Yeah, they're
because they're going to win at some point.
I know. That's what I mean. That's why you're a bad gambler.
I'm actually not bad. I'm not bad at all.
You're not good.
Montreal, they're struggling too. My boy Hoffman's shooting and scoring though, man. He's got an unbelievable shot. They sent down that kid Caufield.
I saw that.
You think that's a message? All these young kids who come up, you get instant success.
Thank you. There it is.
And there's something to be said about kids who get instant success and then they can't follow it up.
Thank you. I know.
What does that tell you?
It means their team's different and they have to do extra shit and they're not used to it. So it is what it is. You're so used to being so good at all fucking levels, and all of a sudden you get up and your team's pretty good, where your goalie being great.
You think you've arrived? You think you've arrived?
Yeah.
This is Mark Bergevin's way of saying, you know what? Let me tell you something right now.
How about you look at the statistics on how many people stay in a show? How many people stay in a show? How long does it take? So it's like easy to make it. Yeah. Not easy to make it, but if you make it, how long do you stay? I mean, it's like a year and a half is like the average or whatever the fuck it is. It's crazy.
I know.
So figure it the fuck out, homeboy.
I'm
a piece of shit, and I did it on drugs. On fucking drugs.
Well, we've seen guys. Yeah, but you weren't a goal scorer. But we've seen guys like Jim.
I just had a fight guy. Come on, like I still had to do shit.
Well, I'm just saying.
Get out of here. I didn't score goals, but you had to fight Brian.
It's harder to score than it is to like
to fight guys.
No,
6'6".
No. That's not easy.
What are you saying?
But I'm saying you could go into a game and say, I'm gonna get a fight tonight. And a guy, you can't automatically say, I'm going to score tonight.
2.5 minutes with him and not get knocked out?
No, that's not easy to do.
All right.
I'm not saying fighting
Tell me
is
what's
easy.
easy then, Andy. Let me know what's easy in the NHL. Just let me know what position in the NHL is easy. Let me know. And let me know.
There's no.
Let me know. Even in the back, even if I played 3 minutes and I had to go fucking toe to toe with a 6'6", tell me if that's like what.
No, that's not easy.
Tell me what to do.
No, that is not easy.
I should have. I know.
Okay,
it's so easy. What am I thinking?
Jeez, it's very hard.
So easy
to fight Chris Barch with a K.
He still threw on you. He still throws on you.
Yes, he did. You guys used to like.
We still throw on each other. Like he's trying to knock me out.
You got to play a better defense on that particular fight.
Me.
Well, he's just punching you left and right. You're punching him. He's punching you. You're punching him.
Well, that's good, and that's why there's a ton of views.
Did you like exchanging?
Fuck yeah. When a guy's my size, you're goddamn right, homie. If you're my size, I'm going you. If you're 6'6", I got a game plan.
Oh, yeah? What's the game plan?
Stretch him out and get strong. Be strong.
Yes.
Stretch him out with my left arm and grab his fucking neck so goddamn tight every time he hits me.
How would you prepare yourself in practice? Would you grab somebody at the end of practice?
Fuck no. I already did that. That's already done. In practice, I'm getting the puck off the fucking wall so I could actually have a shift, homeboy. Yeah. That's where all y'all are missing out. Like, I still had to, like, work on every detail of everything because I can't make a mistake. Yeah. If I made a mistake, I'm gone. I don't give a fuck if I went toe-to-toe.
Yeah, but some guys, like, tough guys, they would, like, put up points and stuff
no shit,
like that.
But I wasn't that good.
Yeah. Okay.
I wasn't that good.
Okay.
So I just had to get the puck out of the zone and hit guys so I could play 10 years.
Yes.
You know, not 2, but 10. Yeah. So I could play 10 and on hardcore painkillers, but it's fine.
Okay, jeez.
Well,
yes.
I mean, what do we say? I got to defend myself when you beat me.
I'm not. There's no beaking.
Nah, and that's all self-induced, baby. I ain't blaming it on anybody. I did that myself. But don't fucking chirp me.
Okay, so mybookie.ag. Listen, use that promo code Cam Strick. Get in there now. You can bet with us. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Cam Strick, Cam and Strick.
Yeah.
Because we're going to have our betting lines, man. And we're going to tell you who we're taking, who we're not taking. There's so much fun, dude. I never thought like it would be so easy and this much fun. I'm having fun with it.
It's easy to look. And people complain about baseball and stuff, betting wise, compared to football. Right? Football is just a unique situation. Yeah. It's easy to bet, but hockey's interesting, dude. Yes. You're like, fuck this. Let me look at the lamp. Okay. Oh, he's minus.
So tell the listeners why they should sign up and why we need them to.
So these cats are. So you're playing a team like in Anaheim who's not winning games. But
they are winning games.
Oh, okay, whatever.
And Kevin Shattenkirk, I told him the other day.
Okay, fine.
I texted Shatty the other day, playing some of the best hockey he's played in a couple of years.
Love you, Shatty. What's up, baby? Shat Deuces. What's up, baby? Love you. But like a team like that is still not getting the credibility from Vegas to get the money line. Is my point. So they're playing good, great point, actually. Now you made my point. So they're playing decent hockey. Yeah. They have a bad team. Yeah. So no one trusts them. So Vegas is like, oh, you're minus 200.
Ryan Getzlaf, the all-time leading scorer.
You're playing Winnipeg and Anaheim, And you're like, I'm betting on this fucking game that Anaheim's going to win. Yeah. I'm going to pay $100. I'm going to win 200.
Yeah.
That's fucking great. Yeah. So just pick out teams that you think are going to win.
And Florida's going to lose eventually here.
Florida's going to lose. There's another thing.
So that's another one. You may want to go anti-Florida because they're going to lose.
Great point. So it's like
they're not going 82-0. You may think they are.
So look, you're not going to get the point spread, whatever with football. You could do whatever you want in hockey. And my point is, like, I look at it and I'm like, this fucking team's due to win.
Yes.
And I'm going to throw money on it. It's worth making an extra $100 on $100.
You got to know the trends. You got to know, exactly. How well a team plays at home versus on the road. Who's in the lineup, who's not in the lineup.
Yeah. What happened that night? Yeah. What did they play the night before?
Yes.
Now, Vegas helps you with that. But if there's a line where you're going to make a little bit of money and risk a team that's going to beat a team in NHL, which could happen any fucking night, anywhere, anytime, it's just fun.
And tell us how you did. Yeah, I want to know how people are doing, winning or losing. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, you're talking to the audience.
Yeah.
Yeah, no shit. Tell us. Actually, give us your advice. Yes. That we're just into this. We're just starting with this shit. Right. We want to get you guys involved.
Send us your picks.
And put the promo. Look, guys, I hate saying this.
Cam Strick.
Listen to me.
Cam Strick.
Listen to me. Stop. Wait, actually, keep saying that. But the point is, you have to put our promo code in, guys. It helps us so much. Even just put our promo code in. You guys are betting anyway. Put our promo code in. Do what we tell you to do. Find some. If you want a chair, help us with this kind of stuff, man. It keeps this ball rolling.
That's right.
It's good shit. You
saw me. A chair.
I got laid last night because my chair looked good.
Oh, is that true?
Yeah. Yeah, and my sweatpants.
What was she dressed as?
Oh, she looks sexy.
Oh, you didn't have a costume on, by the way.
No, I just had my Devils jersey.
Yeah, it's like a very old
it
Devils.
Looked bad.
It's a very old.
People complimented me on that motherfucker. Okay. Now the Devils.
Was that a starter? What was that?
I got it during the draft.
Yeah, that was old.
Isn't that badass? Yeah. I stole it from my parents because I gave it to them back in the day. But then I go and I take things from them.
Yeah, like their beer and stuff like that.
Yeah. And so I'm like, I'm wearing this thing for a video, Dad. Sorry. And so anyway, I know the Blues fans are like, hey, weird Blues stuff. I'm like, oh, fuck, man. The Devils drafted me, homies. Like, my B. But the point is, what is the point again? What are you asking me?
There's no point. Let's get to mybookie.ag.
Mybookie.ag, baby. Let's go.
And use that promo code. And don't forget. All right, Daredevil Hockey. Before we get to Jay McKee. Again, you talk about things that just make sense. This one makes sense. Skate lacerations are no joke. No. Ty's now playing for North Dakota. And I make sure under that sweater, he's got the Daredevil Hockey going on. Use that promo code Cam and Strick. All caps. And you're going to save a bunch of money on that. Daredevil Hockey, man, a lot of people are using this. I'm telling you. Kids in Major Junior, kids throughout the NHL, kids playing local youth hockey, adult league players. Nobody wants to get cut.
No.
It sounds like the worst potential. We had a guy reach out to us recently who just got cut playing like a minor
Frankie Melton. What's up, baby?
FM Roofing.
Get his ass on. What are they
I
doing?
know.
Lord.
See, he'll see a spike in his sales now.
No shit. Funny how that works. Yeah. We just hooked you up, Frankie.
I know. Free advertising. Jeez.
Handsome little fuck.
Daredevil Hockey. Again, Cam and Strick. Use that promo code. It's got that these cut-resistant overlays, man, the fabric, so you just can't cut it.
That's the way it is, baby.
All right, Jay McKee. Head coach Jay McKee. Did you see coaching in his future?
Yeah, man. He's a smart dude.
Yeah, really smart. Great hair, too.
We had fun together.
Great hair. He had a lot of fun.
Like, when I'm partying with Jay McKee, I'm like, oh, you're going to be a coach. Yeah. No, I'm like, we're partying together.
All right. It was a lot of fun, though. Enjoy Jay McKee on this expanded edition of our intro here on the Cam Strick Podcast.
I love all you guys. I love you guys, man.
Yeah.
I love you guys.
Here comes cheese. The Cam Strick Podcast is brought to you by CarShield. You know, nothing more frustrating, Cam, than when that engine light comes on and you know right off the bat you're going to have to spend thousands of dollars to repair your vehicle. Call 800-857-2481. Mention the promo code CAM or visit carshield.com and use the code CAM to save 10%. Yeah. That's carshield.com. A deductible may apply. Save yourself money. Sign up and get your coverage now with carshield.com. Now up to the interview.
What's up, Strick?
Speak to me.
Hi, Cheesy.
What's up, buddy? How you doing?
What are you doing, man?
Hey, you just get done with practice?
Yeah, I just got home. I came home here at a morning practice and just got back to the house here. Yeah.
You got to watch some video now, Jay.
Oh, video. What's
the record right now?
It's a grind, boys. We started off 4-0, slipped a couple games, and won the next one. So we're 5-2 at the moment.
5-2.
Yep.
That's a good start. So,
Who's Jay, by the way?
Cheese.
Cheese.
Why do they
That's
call you
fine.
that? Why do they call you that?
Why'd they call me Cheese?
Yeah.
Well, it goes back to a story with my first year. I was just a young, cheesy kid. And I was at a casino with Jason Daw. And everything I did that was stupid worked out for me, whether it was, just how it went, like in life with girls, with hockey, with everything. I'd just do stupid stuff and it would work out. And at the casino, it was first time playing blackjack. I had no idea what I was doing, right? So the dealer pulled a 6 and I see people like split, cards. They're splitting 2s and 5s and 6s. And, I was just watching. And then as it went on, and Dawsey's playing by the book, right? He's doing everything right. And I was playing like a complete donkey. And I see the dealer gets, I'm not even paying attention to the dealer. I get 2 10s and the dealer gets flips up a 6. So they got a bus card, right? So I'm like, I'm going to split these because everyone's splitting cards, right? And Dawsey's like, no, you got a winner. And he's playing like $25 a hand. I'm a 19-year-old first year league playing $50 a hand more than everybody else, like an idiot. And, so I split the 10s and, I get a 10, which would have been the dealer's bus card. And then a 2 and I'm like, or a 3 something. I double down again. He's like, no, you don't double there. I'm like, well, I'm seeing other people do it. So I'm doing it. And so now I've got $200-300 on the table just with stupid hands. I pull my cards. Dealer flips their card. They got a 16. They would have busted. Everybody would have won. Then like a 4 comes. But I ended up with like a couple of 21s and I win. I'm excited. And everyone else at the table losing, looking at me, right? He goes, you know what? You're so fucking cheesy. Like you're the cheese from this day forward. You are the cheese. That's kind of how it officially, became the cheese, or I became the cheese.
With all those numbers crunched, I got a fucking concussion right now. Cheesy. I'm not gonna lie.
No, I know, but you know what? I couldn't count then. I can't count now, and I was winning and everyone else was losing. I didn't know why. I was loving it, and I was being loud and just an idiot, right?
Dude, isn't that funny though? Like that's why I hate gambling because. Well, not on hockey, of course, with mybookie.ag, but like at the casino, people just stare at you, and they've been there all damn day, and that's what they do. And you're fucking the rotation up, you're fucking the rhythm up, cards up. They'll kill you.
They will.
They'll kill you.
They'll follow you to the car.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, the people that are there every day. Oh, they get heated.
Smoking darts all day long. Their face looks like
obviously
leather.
I know how to play. Yeah, obviously I know how to play now, and I haven't been to casino in 10 years, but if I went. I would be playing the right way where everyone would be happy, but that was my first trip. I ended up walking out up a few hundred. Jason Daw, he lost. He's like, you're just an idiot.
I've gotten that before. Don't worry about it. Hey, when you said every bad decision you made turned out okay, but I get that too, man, because I get the karma level. I get, you gotta kind of fall into a hole and crawl yourself out of it, but. You said it turns out, but you still had to go through hell with some decisions, right? Like we all kind of did. So all the bad decisions, you had to crawl out of that too, right? It didn't just happen like, oh, I made a bad decision. Oh, now everything's okay.
Yeah. No, it's you live and learn, and yeah. I mean, it was more of being young and immature. I played my first game for the Sabres at 18 and first full season at 19, and I was just an immature. I didn't know much, and just young and cheesy. That's kind of how it all began. But yeah, you make mistakes, you learn, you grow. You don't grow with all the positive things you do. It's the stuff where you fail and you make mistakes, you learn, you get better. Right?
Listen, you played a long time though, Jay, and I should not say Jay. Should I say
Quit
cheese?
calling him Jay, goddammit.
Okay, you played a long time. You played over 800 games in the league though. But like when you stepped away, when you retired, like, how'd you get into coaching? Like, did you think coaching would be like your next calling? Like, do you like it? Are you loving it? Like, you're spending a lot of time at the rink, man. It's a lot of work, right?
Yeah, it is a lot of work, and I really do love it. It doesn't feel like work. Like it's a game that I've loved since I was 2 years old. Since I started watching, and to still be a part of it, I feel really fortunate. As I was a player, you're going. Through the seasons, and as I was getting older and I had that major hip, the pelvic injury in St. Louis, I started slowing down after that. And as you get older, when you're young in the NHL and not established, you listen to all the direction, you listen to the teachings, you don't say much to the coaches, you got your head down, you work hard, and you get 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 14 years in the league, and you're established, you start feeling a little more comfortable, and you especially with assistant coaches, you develop close friendships and relationships. They're guys that maybe you'll call after a game and talk to and just have good, life discussions about the team, yourself, different things. And, guys like Brad Shaw and Granato, Tony Granato, guys like that when I was older, just fantastic human beings that, I started asking them and Rick Walmsley there in St. Louis, asking them what it was like, their transition to coaching, if they liked it. And I think it was those guys that kind of inspired me to have an interest in it. And, once I retired from hockey, I got into it. I was skating with the Niagara Purple Eagles. Their head coach, Dave Burkholder, was my junior coach. And I was skating with them just for conditioning in case an NHL team signed me. I wanted to be in good condition. So I was skating with them. And he's, when things weren't looking like I was going to be signed, he said, "Hey, if you want to get into coaching, I'd love to have you here and working with the guys." So that's kind of how it started. And then it just took off from there. I went from there for a year as kind of a volunteer coach to coaching in the Rochester Americans in the AHL. Then I stepped back to the OHL, where I coached with my junior franchise. I played in Niagara Falls, but they were the Erie Otters now. So I coached with them, and in McDavid's the last year we had him there. And then I made the jump over to the Kitchener Rangers, where I was there for 5 or 6 years, lost track now, and now in Hamilton. So it's been a real fun journey. I have a real appreciation for what it takes to be a good coach. You don't automatically stop playing the game, and you're not a great coach day one. It takes a lot of going through good experiences, tough experiences, player management, learning personalities. And you know what? Like I said, there isn't a day that's felt like work. I've really, really enjoyed the process.
All right, that's awesome. And the guys you mentioned, man, we know all those guys too, obviously. I mean, so you got some good mentors to work with. But Jay, listen, you as a player, you had that balance, man. You knew when to take it serious, but you also knew how to have fun away from the rink and have a good time. You had your boys that you hung out with and whatever. So how do you handle that with the kids that you're coaching right now? Do you let them have fun? Are you overly serious based on your own experiences because you don't want them to maybe have as fun as you did? Like, how do you approach that?
Yeah, I especially in the generation when me and Cam played together and before us, the off-ice bonding was a big part of it, and we had a lot of fun. We had a great crew. That's when you love your teammates and you feel like brothers, you play harder for each other, you stick up for each other, you want to win together. It's just it really adds to the whole overall experience of a hockey team. I think at this level, with junior hockey players, you have 3 16-year-olds on your team, 3 20-year-olds, and then a mix of everything in between. And these guys aren't established pro players. It's a different type of thing, right? Like, we're trying to teach these guys to get to that next level, to stay at the next level, and so the focus is a little bit different. But of course, team bonding and getting together and having nights out for these guys, it's a little bit more challenging now with the pandemic and the way things are. With COVID and even restaurants in Canada right now are a lot stricter with things. So for them to go out like we used to in the past, it isn't happening. But we still encourage them to get together in certain spots when you've got a long time in between games and things are going well. I think at every level of hockey, team bonding is really important.
Oh, yeah, and we certainly did that, Cheesy, and you know it. But let me ask you this. When you walk in that locker room, you got 14 years under your belt, you got 800 games, okay? Do you how is your reaction with these kids? Like, are you friends with them? Like, how is the balance as being a coach? You want them to like you. You want them to respect you. You're not that old. You look young. You probably got your fucking hair still flowing down. I know. But are you like, how do you balance that though? Because you want them to like you. So how do you take care of that?
Yeah, it's a fine balance. I think as an assistant coach, which I was for a number of years, you have the ability to have a different connection where you can be the fun guy and the joking guy and you get to know them on different levels. As a head coach, you have to, taper that. I'm not a guy. I am a guy where my door is always open. I like to I believe I have a sense of humor and some wit, and I like to bring that in every so often. I can mix it in with some video and stuff and jokes here and there. But I think that's being human too. You have to, these kids have to realize that you are a human, you are a person, and that's how you build good connections. But no, I at the same time as a head coach, you need to be stern. They need to know that you're the head guy and the boss, and there's levels of expectations and there's pressure for everybody, the kids, the coaches, the management, expectations to win. So there's a fine balance there, but I think it's important not to change who you truly are. Just maybe taper, the sense of humor or the fun guy aspect a little bit.
All right, and you're probably leading the league in block shots. I mean, you got blocking shots.
Face.
Oh, everybody's blocking shots. Hey, but what about like when the mom calls or the dad calls?
The hot mom? I mean,
well, you never know. You never know. Hey, there's always a chance.
I'm just saying.
Hey, but when like the dad calls, and I'm sure the agents are calling. Like, how do you handle that? Because I mean, you listen. You can be in the game forever and know the game up and down and be comfortable coaching, but you still got to deal with some shit, though, Jay.
Yeah, you know what? It's really this level, the OHL, and especially an organization like the Hamilton Bulldogs with Steve Staios as a GM, it's run like a professional ship, right? So parents don't call me, agents don't call me. They go through the GM.
Ah, good.
No differently. I mean, obviously parents aren't calling GMs or coaches at the NHL level, but these are still kids. We're developing, some kids that are still in high school, and then some older players that are drafted to the NHL or that have played pro games. So it's a mature group. There's certainly always, every year, there's instances that need to be addressed and discussed. But it's, parents have a relationship with the GM after he drafts their kids, and pretty much every player at this level has an agent. So usually when there's issues or something that needs to be filtered, it goes through. I don't get phone calls from players, maybe some agents that I know well that I'll speak to, but I'll talk to scouts about players. I'll talk to the players directly, but that kind of stuff, no, it doesn't come through me. So,
you're lucky then, Jay. Hey, you're lucky.
Well, that's like AAA stuff, though.
Well, no, because a lot of coaches at the junior level are, some of them are also the GM, or has that kind of changed a little bit? Because for a long time, the coach was the GM. They were doing the recruiting and everything, right? Drafting.
No, yeah, there's a couple teams. Yeah, I think if things are being run the right way, both those jobs take a lot of focus, a lot of time. So there's some guys that can do it, but throughout the CHL in general. But the majority of teams, they'll have a GM, assistant GM, they'll have head coaches, full staff, video coaches. It's really professionally run.
Okay, you're a pretty cool, calm, collected dude. I've never seen you blow up much. Like you're just always just cool and calm. When you're on the bench and shit's going down and you're going back and forth with a kid on the team that maybe you're captain or maybe be an older guy that's has been in the league a couple years, like, is there ever a fuck you match? Is there ever a point where you're going toe to toe and you're like, I got to control this kid? Like, how do you react to the emotion of some of these kids?
Yeah, no, I haven't had one of those back and forth interactions, but there's been some heated moments, but I do have a stoic philosophy in life, and that's kind of my personality. I'm more of, I'll teach. Definitely as a head coach, you have to bring some heat, whether it's in the dressing room or on the bench, just to get guys dialed in. But that's usually what it is. It's not a personal thing. It's usually a group thing of getting guys to wake up, and that's part of what coaching is bringing some fire sometimes. There was a table in London one game when I was head coach with Kitchener that I flipped the table after the first period, and the Gatorade went everywhere.
We love that.
Kick that fucking table, cheesy.
I gave the garbage can a kick and it went flying across the room, and my video coach was kind of cowering in the corner. He hadn't seen this side of me before, and it's really again, it's not a personal thing. It's really trying to get the best out of the players, and sometimes buttons need to be pushed where there's I don't want to say fear, but that, oh man, this is real. That kind of like you get them alert and get them dialed in, because they are kids that are striving to be pros. And there's, like I said, I had McDavid on my team before the years in the NHL, and sometimes buttons need to be pushed in a different way that gets the best out of them.
Yeah, we're going to get into him. But listen, like I've been coaching like midget AAA hockey for 20 years or whatever. So like a little younger than the kids that you're coaching right now, but some are 16 or whatever. Yeah. But so what's your take on this generation of kids? Can they handle the tough coaching?
Oh boy.
How far can you go, Jay? Do you have to teach, or coach every kid differently and
pussyfoot?
And like how much of an adjustment was that for you when you first started coaching in the OHL, even as an assistant coach? Just learning this generation of kids, what they can and cannot take. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it is very different. I think, when Cam and I were growing up in the sport, there was a lot more coaching through intimidation. But, the truth is there's been a real society shift in the way that society is. And these kids are coached differently than we were. We went through experiences, Cam, you could probably attest to this, that people would be fired today if they said some things they said to players or the way they treated them. And, there might've been some physical altercations back in the day, probably before our time. Like it was wild times. Just look at the games that were played 10 years, 20 years before us. Right. So the society has changed. The game has changed. The way that the players are talked to has probably changed in a way as well. So, and for me, going from, an assistant coach to being a head coach, it's really about building relationships, understanding each player. Some players, you try and do player profiles where you talk to the players, start to learn more about them when you get to a team, or every year because you have new players, and you try and find out what works. I mean, is it a young player that needs to have his, back padded and talked to, or is it a guy that wants a little fire, wants to be pushed? I mean, these players will tell us that, I'm a guy that needs to be pushed at times. So they give you the green light. You can lean on them a little more verbally in certain ways and ask for more out of them. And other guys, you've got to just teach, right? So it's a fine balance. But, when you're trying to get a whole team going, you've got to bring some fire and try and light a spark under them for sure.
All right, listen, you've played for some, good coaches, man. I mean, you look at your career, you played for the Teddy Nolans, who we had on, who was great with us.
Great guy.
We love Teddy. You had John Tortorella, I think, in the minors, right? Lindy Ruff. I'm just going off the top of my head. Andy Murray, I don't know how much you take from Andy or not. You can kind of fill me in from that standpoint. But who's the coach that had the greatest impact on you? And do you take a little bit from everybody? Help me out with some of those names that I just mentioned. What'd you learn from these guys?
Well, I'll give you a Teddy Nolan story. And Teddy, I was young on the team, first year guy. We had a good team, won the President's Trophy. It was his first year, first full season in the NHL. And obviously you want to win as a coach your first full season. And, I don't think he was big on me being a young guy that was trying to learn my way through my first season. I wouldn't have been there if Dominic Hasek wasn't the goalie. He was saving my butt and other guys' butts probably more than normal goalies should have to. But Teddy had me so kind of scared and nervous as a young kid that the one day he was big on being on time, which is great. That's a great trait to teach players and whatnot. But the one day, I lived about 5 minutes from the arena downtown. We had a practice arena that was about 35 minutes away. So the one day I went to the rink in the morning and I gave myself, I was going to be there 30 minutes early. So I got to the arena downtown. I'm like, oh my God, there's no cars here.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Jeez. Oh.
So I had about 30 minutes to get 35 minutes away, get out of my underwear and be ready for the stretch. So I gunned it. I mean, I was, it wasn't safe what I was doing that day, trying to get to the arena. And my biggest fear was looking at Ted Nolan being late. Right. So as I was driving down, would have been Niagara Falls Boulevard, pretty busy road. I knew I wasn't going to make it on time, or I was going to be just a minute or two late. I literally thought about running into another car, so I had an excuse, like a small fender bender, just bang into the back of somebody, not hurt anybody. But I wanted to have a reason to be late. So I but as I was going, I might make it. I'm not going to do this. I might make it. And I got there. Let's just say I had to be there by 9 a.m. It was 8:59. I ran up, came in the room by the time I got parked, got up there, it was a minute past. Teddy Nolan wasn't in the room. The guys were just sitting down to do their team stretch in the dressing room, and I got my stuff off as fast as I could. I got in the stretch. I might have missed the first stretch that they were doing. I'm like, you know what? I'm good. I'm all right. So nothing was said. Everything was normal. My heartbeat was still pounding. I'd finally get out in the ice. We do, a flow drill. I'm like, okay, I'm good. Teddy was out there, and then he blows the whistle down, brings everybody center ice, and he just tore my whole backside off.
In front of everybody, huh?
In front of everybody. He told me to get in choice words. He told me to get off the ice. I had to go do a 500-calorie bike ride in 20 minutes, and so I was embarrassed. I was scared. I was intimidated. It was a tough experience, and I can tell you what, though, there hasn't been a day in my life that I think I've been late for anything after that day. So, and it's actually a story that I passed along to my kids here in Hamilton about being on time for things, and just a life message of, I don't want you guys to go to the next level and go through that experience I went through. So, but that's a Teddy Nolan story. Outside of Teddy, I thought Lindy Ruff was fantastic. I had him for 10 years, and he was hard in my early years. A little of that coaching through intimidation. He was a guy that I feared, but I was there for 10 years, and we grew a relationship where, and I think Lindy evolved over time as a coach too. I think, he's been good at changing over the years, adjusting to the players and, again, the societal shift that's happening. So for him to still be doing it now in New Jersey says that he has that ability to change a little bit. And, I can fast forward Andy Murray. I think Andy is the most studious coach of the game that I've had, in the sense of preparation and planning. And, we're getting the sheets under the doors, and, my favorite story.
That you didn't read? Who are you kidding?
Sure.
Hey, Walt used to put the towels. He would put the towels down so it couldn't get through.
I'm sure you guys been through that story with Walt. Yeah. So, and you know what? For me, I thought that was too much information. When you're going into Nashville after a back-to-back, and you play them 8 times in the same season, you're getting the sheet under the door. It's like, oh man, I think we know what we're expecting. We want to just go play, right? So. But you know what? Maybe some guys like that, and I think that was Andy. You can't fault someone for wanting to be prepared. It was just too much at times for some of us. And then I had Dan Bilesma in Pittsburgh my last season. They just came off winning a Stanley Cup, and I think Dan, he was a player's coach. He did some things I thought were hilarious and outside the box in the way of being a coach, but. He also had the name Disco Dan. He'd be dancing around naked after games. I heard after wins, so he was a fun guy.
Wait.
Brought that.
Jeez, stop. What the fuck you just say? What'd you just say?
Hey Cam, I'm pretty sure I've seen you doing the same thing in the. It might have been in the shower, but
I ain't no coach. I'm just
No. Back it up. He didn't do that as a coach. That was as a player.
Okay. I'm thinking Disco Dan as a coach.
No.
I'm like, what? I was Disco Cam back in the day.
Yeah, no. Dan was a fun play. He was a guy that we would have really enjoyed playing with, and he brought, he brought a fun aspect to being a coach. He obviously pressed buttons at times the right way, but he wasn't doing that as a head coach.
We thought he was like Gino and Sid are sitting there like, okay, don't worry, it's just Disco Dan.
Disco Dan's doing a helicopter.
I knew a girl in high school, by the way, back in the day, blonde hair. She used to try to get in car accidents on purpose. She would hit mailboxes and curbs.
Well, she's a dumb bitch.
Because she wanted her dad to buy. Hey, you can't say that.
Yes, I can.
She wanted her dad to buy her a new car. So I mean,
that's what idiots
people do that. People do
you
that.
Would hang out with that broad. You would hang out with her, Andy. Good God.
Oh my God. So hey, real quick though, playing with Sid, because you played with him your last year. And this is a question that I'm sure you've been asked before, because you coach McDavid. I got to dig into McDavid too. I need to know what he's all about, because he hasn't had the playoff success yet. Yeah. Not his fault really, because he scores he puts up like 7 points a game, but still. Crosby, what'd you learn from him? Because he was pretty young back then, had just won Stanley Cup at the time, I think, right? So you learned from him any similarities to what you saw from a young Sid versus, coaching a phenom like McDavid and Jr.?
What I thought was amazing is their their personalities were, and just the way they're both humble, good people. It was incredibly similar. Sid was the first guy when I signed with Pittsburgh to call me up and say, hey, let's grab lunch when you get here. Love to get to know you. Sid was a guy I didn't like at all before I went to Pittsburgh. I had the same impression as most people, where I thought he whined all the time, and whined with the refs. But what happened is every time Sid, especially through the prime and early years of his career, every time he said something on the ice, there was always a camera on him, right? So it was something to talk about. So he always saw it. Where if me or Cam were yelling at the refs or crying to the refs, it never made it on TV because no one cared, right? So
the women, the women in the stands did. Who are you kidding?
Yeah, so you know what? Sid didn't yell at the refs any more than anyone else. It just got televised all the time. So it built this kind of persona that he's a bit of a baby, blah, blah, blah. And I kind of bought into it. And then when I met him, it couldn't have been further from the truth. He's an incredible teammate, a guy. I played with him 1 year, 11, 12 years ago, and I was talking to him earlier today, like a guy that stays in touch with people that come in and out of his life for a short period of time. But no, I really enjoyed my time with him, getting to know him, spending time with him, and just a quality person. And on the flip side of that, McDavid is almost, his DNA is very similar in that sense. He was raised really well, really humble, for being I think he had 100 points in junior in 33 games, and being that good, and being a kid, you think he may have a little bit of an ego or carry himself above everybody else, but it wasn't like that at all. He was just such a good leader and character guy. And when they made him captain in Edmonton, and so early, a lot of people were questioning it, but the people that know him on a personal level knew exactly why they made that decision and why it was a good one. So, uber elite talented guys in the sport of hockey, but just quality people off the ice.
All right, but McDavid and Junior, I mean, how could you not be above everybody else? So, how much attention was he getting? Like, how, the media, is it there? And you coached some other great players on that team, too. Like, you had DeBrincat, you had some other guys, too. You had a bunch of NHLers on that roster. But McDavid, how much attention was he getting? And were you guys protective of him as coaches to, let him just kind of be a normal kid? Did he live a normal life in comparison to everybody else?
He was very fortunate because he was with the Erie Otters, a U.S.-based team that, there's a lot of other things that are really big in Erie. And to be honest, the hockey fans there loved him, but he could go to them all there and walk around and not get recognized. It was pretty amazing. It was great for him, probably the best thing for him. Now, on the flip side of that, when we'd come up to games in Ontario, we needed security for our bus.
Really?
After games, there would be hordes of people. We couldn't walk from the arena to our bus, which was parked, 40 yards away. Yeah. So we needed security, and being the person he was, he'd want to sign for everybody and all the guys on the bus waiting. We could have waited for an hour after every game if he went through everybody. So we actually needed someone to be with us just to kind of cut it down after, 10, 15 minutes. He just couldn't do everybody. Otherwise, the bus wouldn't be rolling out for an extra hour after it was planned to leave. So, I think he got really lucky in that sense. Otherwise, he wouldn't be able to leave home in anywhere in Ontario with his status at that time. So I think that maybe helped him stay humble as well, and worked out really well.
You know what? Andy had to go through that in high school football. He was an unbelievable cornerback, and the women were going crazy for him, That's a lie.
I needed security.
That's a lie.
I heard that hasn't changed, though. I heard that was still happening with him.
Well, that's why he's my business partner.
Cam Strick Podcast here for our boy Dan Bellman with Bellman.com.
Yeah, baby.
You need some new wheels? Why not get a Cadillac, a Buick, a GMC? Yeah. Head out to Troy today. And again, don't forget about Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram right across the street.
No doubt.
Right there in Troy, Missouri. Visit them online. Check out their new selection, the pre-owned selection, the best service you will find anywhere in the country. Bellman.com. BEHLMANN.com. Get yourself some new wheels in time for the summer.
Yeah.
Now back to the interview.
Listen, okay, you're 18, 19 years old, cheesy. You're in Buffalo. You're making a little money. Like, explain your routine every day. I mean, when you're that young, dude, are you like hockey?
He's buying cars.
Are you like, fuck, I'm blocking shots with my fucking face. I got good hair. I'm young as shit. I'm making money. Like, I'm fucking going out and doing my shit. Like, how'd you balance that whole process at that age?
Yeah, you know what? I was actually at that age. I was really committed. I moved to Mike Wilson was a guy, a defenseman with Buffalo that I played junior hockey with, and he was with the Sabres, a couple of years older than me. I moved in with him in the summers and trained with Doug McKinney, the strength coach, every summer, and stayed up there in Buffalo. I didn't go back to my hometown, so I really committed at an early age. And I think Dougie was a big part of having me ready to play at that young age. So right after being drafted, I was pretty much there throughout the summers and really applying myself. And obviously you're having a good time too on weekends and stuff like that and getting to know some people. And, but on the flip side, I got to remember the opportunity wasn't the same to have as much fun being 18, 19 years old in a state where going out, you had to be 21 years old. So it was, my focus early on, especially was all about hockey and making the NHL as early as I could. And it worked out for me.
All right, hey, what was that staph infection? Was it like did you get like a skate laceration? Like what happened when you got, I think it was the last year in Buffalo herpes? Before you came, well, we'll talk about that. But the last year in Buffalo before you came to St. Louis, I think, right?
Yeah.
Was it like a skate laceration? Like what was the injury?
Yeah, no, I believe we had the best team in the league that year. We were rolling really well. We got in the playoffs, and we were in the Eastern Conference. We were in the semis for the conference finals, so second round, and playing against Ottawa. And I got a shot in the ankle, and I felt it. Whatever, played the game. After the game, took my skate off, and my whole skate was full of blood. So it got me just in the little area in the skate to the right of the tongue where there's no padding, and it split me. So I bled through the period, and pretty good gash. The doctor came over and he said, well, we could give it a stitch or two, or we could just steri strip it and it'll probably be fine. And I said, well, you just do whatever's easiest. So we put steri strips on it and they cleaned it up, put steri strips on it, and we moved on. And the next day in practice, I just happened to get hit in the exact same spot. So it opened up again. Sock was full of blood, so it reopened a couple times and so we moved on. We won that round. We're playing Carolina. We score in, I believe it was overtime in game 6 to force a game 7. Now the staff had gotten into my ankle. I don't know exactly when, but sometime the round before. Okay. So now we're, 7-10 days, or probably about 10 days later, 12 days later, where it was brewing in there for, a good 10 days. After the game, I had soreness in my shin, but I also had soreness in my other shin from blocking shots and battling through Stanley Cup playoffs. And we're in the semifinals, and it's like a war out there every game. So the whole body was sore, but I had a little extra soreness in my one shin. I assumed it was from a block shot. I went to bed after that game 6 game. I woke up around 2 a.m. and I was like, my shin is really hurting. Like, this is odd. It's like hurting more than it should. And my wife at the time just said, why don't you go get, take an aspirin or something and leave, and hopefully the pain will go away. So, all right. So I grabbed one and went back to bed. And about 5 a.m., I woke up again. And I'm like, ooh, this is like really hurting now. So I went to stand up to go get another aspirin. And when I stood up, I fell over. It felt like my shin, it felt like someone snapped my shin. So it didn't make any sense to me, and I was in excruciating pain. So I called my team trainer, who lived probably about 10 minutes from me, and explained the situation. And I said, "Yeah, my calf is like swelling up too. It's almost the size of my thigh, and it's red." And he said, "Well, touch it. Is it hot?" And it was. I touched it. It was really hot. So he said, "Yeah, you might have an infection." He's like, "Why don't you get over here?" So I raced over to his house. I got to his house, and by the time I got there, I was leaning over in the passenger seat. And sweat was dripping off my eyelids, my ears, my nose. I was shaking my head, and sweat was flying everywhere. So the staff had went into my system. The second he saw me, he just said, "We got to go to the hospital now." So we took off, and my wife at the time was driving. We were following him. We got to the first intersection, and I said, I don't know if I'm dying here. Like the way I feel like I'm dying. So I got out of the car, I hobbled up to his car. I fell into the passenger seat. He looked at me and just gunned it through the red light. Got to the hospital. By the time I got to the hospital, they had me sitting up on a table. My arms were crossed, my legs were straight out, and they were both bouncing uncontrollably off the table.
Your legs were bouncing.
Was that MRSA?
Both of my legs were bouncing uncontrollably. It was really strange, but the pain was, I'd never felt anything like it. So they gave me some stuff to pull the pain back, and then they got me sedated for a bit. They did a culture. They had to figure out what it was. The doctor came back once I was kind of understanding what he was saying, and he said, and you got to remember, we were flying out that day to go to Game 7 of the Eastern Conference Finals to play for the Stanley Cup Finals, right? God. So the doctor came in, and this is my best season of my career. I'm a UFA at the end of the season. The doctor says, "You want to hear the good news or the bad news?" And I said, "Well, give me the good news first." So the good news is we're going to figure out what this is, and we'll get the right antibiotics into you. I said, "Okay, now keep going." He said, "The bad news is if the redness that's just below your kneecap starts to travel above your knee, we're probably going to have to amputate from the knee down."
Yep.
And I just sat there like,
dude,
I took it in for a second, and everything's going through my mind. Like, are you kidding me? Like, UFA year, we've got the Stanley Cup. Like, I got to play tonight, and so they ended up, I asked them what the chances were of playing. I said, if you guys give me some painkillers here, and can I get out there and play? And if this redness doesn't go above the knee, and they said, no, it doesn't look that way for tomorrow night. They ended up putting a PICC line in my arm that pumped antibiotics in my body. I was hooked up to a little pack that pumped it in every so often for 10 days. So I was shut down for a good 10 days. So
in the hospital for 10 days?
No, I went home after, I think at the end of the day with the PICC line in my arm and that kind of system, the pack that was hooked up to me, that was pumping the stuff in. So the game that night, obviously I didn't make, and I was so messed up from the infection going throughout my whole body that I was in and out of consciousness, basically trying to watch the game. Yeah, it was just a wild experience.
So was that MRSA? Because I went through that same thing when I blocked a shot, and they zipped me up in Springfield, Massachusetts, and they got infected. The next day, my whole leg blew up. My wife had to rush me to the hospital, and I was in there for like 4 days. But it was MRSA or something like that bacteria, and it's in your body forever now. You know what I mean? So that must have been fucked up.
Yeah.
So if you guys would have won that game, like, you wouldn't have been available for the final anyway, right? You're done. You're shut down.
If we would have won that game, I may have been available for Game 5 or somewhere around that time. And you know what? And that was the year we had three of our top 4 D were knocked out of the playoffs from injury before me, so I was the fourth to go. I was out there playing every other shift, and every guy we had on the back end was leaving it out there. And then, I was the fourth D to drop out, and we lost Tim Connolly earlier. So we just, it was in Carolina's fate that year to win it all. And they rolled into Edmonton for the finals, and Dwayne Rolison got hurt right away. So it was just kept happening for them. But you know what? If you're going to win the Stanley Cup championship, you got to have things go your way as the winning team throughout the playoffs for sure.
Yeah, no doubt about that, man. Hey, let me ask you about, we've had Matthew Barnaby on, we've had Chris Osgood, and they've talked about Dominic Hasek.
Brad May.
Everybody's talking about Dominic Hasek. How were you with him? Now, Barney said that they had a rift going on. And I think that's publicly known for everybody.
Yep.
But what was your take on Dominic Hasek? How was he as a teammate? How was he as a person? And especially, like, his work ethic.
Teddy Nolan didn't like him either.
No,
remember?
I know. A lot of guys don't like him. What is this fucking deal? Like, explain it, Cheesy.
Yeah. No, you know what? So Barney had been there a few years before me. When you're a player and you're somewhere and you're there for a few years, you understand the dynamic of how everything works, and personalities better, and you have different experiences. For me, being a first-year guy in the NHL, I played 41 out of 82 games, and I was learning about everything, right? I was soaking everything in, and my experiences with Dom were different though, because he was, defense and goaltenders have a kind of a bond together. We're their last line of support. And when we make mistakes, they're our support. And being a guy that would block shots, Dom had an appreciation for that. And being a young guy that made a lot of mistakes, I had appreciation for Dom. And my experiences with him were different than everybody else's. I don't have any personal riffs with him. He's definitely a different character, but I think Dom would tell you that himself. A little different at times. But yeah, I had no negative experiences myself. If I was with him for 4 or 5 years like other guys, maybe I would have a different story. But yeah, I don't have anything, and I respect Barney and all his stories and personal opinions. He's a great friend and a great person. He just has different experiences with me. So I have nothing negative at all to say about Dom.
All right, listen, we had on Holy, Modano, Hatcher, like all these guys. Like you played in that Stanley Cup final, right? So tell us what happened. Like, okay, so the goal was scored. A lot of controversy there. I mean, Holy says you guys didn't even provide any beer or anything.
Cheap asses.
No beer in the dressing room for the celebration and whatever. But what? I want to know what you guys went through that night. Like the immediate reaction inside the dressing room and how it carried over into the next 24 hours. Like, were you guys in disbelief? Were you pissed off? What was that like for you personally and for the team?
Well, first I'll say, after seeing Holly after St. Louis winning the cup, I don't know if he needed extra beers in the dressing room after. He's a beauty. No, he certainly provided a lot of entertainment. I love it.
It's tequila. It's tequila too, by the way. Codigo. We'll get Codigo and shoot out.
The game.
Okay. You can handle the beers, but not the tequila. I got it. No, he's good at entertainment for sure. Good man.
Oh yeah.
So that year, the rule was if there was a foot in the crease, all right, before the puck was in the crease, it was deemed no goal. And I didn't like the rule. I'll be honest with you. Every goal was reviewed, and if the player's foot was in the crease and he wasn't anywhere near the goalie, I don't know why it was a rule. So. Yeah. I think it was 1 year. 1 year it was a rule, and then gone. They got rid of it. So, but the fact is, all year long, goals were being called back when the foot was in the crease before the puck. And so we go into we're in the Stanley Cup Finals. It was a battle. We're in Game 6 and triple overtime. I mean, the guys are all exhausted and tired and playing hurt, and we get to that point when they score the goal, when Brett scores his goal. Their players rush out on the ice. The players who weren't playing rush out on the ice. The media barges open the Zamboni doors. They're all out there. It's a celebration. And us on our bench, we were so exhausted. I'll speak on a personal account. I was sitting on the bench, and I remember seeing them score, and I just put the head down, and there's an emotion that flows through you. You don't think about anything else about, other than it's over, and it's like you just left everything out there, and it's hard to accept at the moment, and you get emotional, and then you go out and shake hands, and I don't know if anyone thought at the moment, hey, check the goal, right? Because so much happens when it happens, when the goal's scored. So we end up shaking hands. We go back in the dressing room, and no one's taking their gear off. Everyone's just kind of slumped, kind of trying to digest everything that just happened, and in a dead quiet dressing room of a bunch of grown men that are just sitting there slumped over, you just hear this door slam open, and it's Lindy Ruff. His face is red. He's walking incredibly fast and mumbling something, and he goes out to the bench. So what they had done is the coaches went back to the coach's office, and they're sitting there feeling defeated and deflated, and then the replay came up, and someone's like, hold on, his foot was in the crease. And so Lindy went barging out to the bench, and I don't know who he said something to or what, but pretty much got told to turn around and get back to the room, and that's all she wrote. But when you look at it, I'm sure Holly or Dallas may argue it a different way, but his foot was clearly in the crease before the puck got there. So you could argue it wasn't a legit goal, and so it's a tough one. I've obviously put it behind me. Sometimes I'll joke on Twitter about not letting it go or messing around with Holly in certain ways. I've done that in the past, but it is what it is. But I think that if you go back in time, if we could have reviewed it, we may still be playing that hockey game.
So when he came in, was he like, that's not a fucking goal? And were you guys like, oh shit, okay, well, get our shit together? Or were you like, I don't know about that? Like, was there any?
You know what?
Yeah, go ahead.
So he didn't. Lindy didn't say anything when he walked by. Like, so he had to kind of. So he slammed open this door and they hung a tight left that goes down the hallway and out of the room. So he didn't walk through the dressing room. We just, he aggressively went through the door. We heard it kind of slam against the wall, and it just seemed like really odd at the time. So we started like, what's going on here? Like, what was that? And then, kind of rumor floated around, maybe through the train. I don't remember exactly, but maybe through the equipment managers or something, that it wasn't. We didn't feel it was a goal, and so we just kind of waited it out. We're like, what's happening? But it got shut down right away because they're almost in the middle of bringing the Stanley Cup onto the ice, and you weren't turning it around at that point, right?
Yeah, it was too. Yeah. What do you do? All y'all put your gear back on.
Exactly. Well,
Can you imagine?
the celebration, it's like the most anticlimactic situation of all time, right? I mean, like they're like literally like hoisting the Stanley Cup on the ice.
And
like
you guys are like on the bench, like, what are we doing?
I know, man. Well, that's too bad.
You've got the cup keeper walking it out onto the ice, and then what would you do? Have Gary say, "Hey, turn that thing around. We got to get all the media, all the players back." I mean, I get it.
Yeah, you do.
I get that you can't turn it around at that point, right? But I just wish maybe someone up. I don't know.
Hey, I'll tell you this today. Listen, if that happened today, man, they wouldn't end the game. They're not with all the gambling and everything else that's going on, man. They're not going to end the game. If they would review that and they would change it, man, they would say, okay, cup keeper, get the fuck off the ice.
Fuck out of here with your long hair.
We're going to retain. We're going to continue it now.
Philly, we love you though, buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wouldn't have gotten that far. When you look at technology, you've got iPads on the bench now. I mean, we're going back to 1999. If we watch even footage of those games, it looks grainy nowadays, right? So
Chief would kill somebody.
It's different now. I mean,
oh God,
you're seeing it on the bench in real time now with an iPad, so it's very different. Yeah, you won't see that again.
Okay, so I remember going back to like when you had the staph infection or whatever, but it was like the conference final. I remember talking to a scout, and he was like, "Man, the best player in the Eastern Conference Finals, Jay McKee." And I wrote the story. I swear to God, in the Eastern Conference playoffs, out of the East.
Did you say best hair?
Yeah. Best hair, everything.
Best shin pads.
We're going to talk about your cars and everything else. Yeah. But I remember writing this story being like, best player in the Eastern Conference playoffs is fucking Jay McKee. And it's like, he's shot and blocking shots left and right, whatever. And then the Blues signed you. And I was like, I think I signed Jay McKee. This is the reason why he came here. And
you invented fun for us.
And they offered you like a crazy contract. Now, listen, 4 years, $16 million. Now, was anybody else even close to being in that ballpark? Any other teams in the mix? And like you had spent your entire career, you were a first-round pick, man, for the Buffalo Sabres. So how difficult was that for you to top 10 pick too, for you to pick up your bags, everything you've known as an NHLer, and now come to St. Louis where the team wasn't very good? Break that down for us.
Yeah, it was challenging leaving Buffalo. One of the best parts that we're grateful for in the sport is meeting so many good people, whether it's restaurant owners, equipment managers, teammates. There's so many good people you meet in the sport, and being in one spot for 10 years, a team that drafted me, it was tough. It was tough to leave, but on the day of being a UFA, there were teams that were close, but. And I know that St. Louis tried to get other players before me, which is the way it works. And when those players chose to go elsewhere, I think if you're management in St. Louis and you're concerned about, well, hey, we just had 3-4 guys that we were offering good deals to, and they're going elsewhere, then it raises the value on the next guys, right? Mm-hmm. Otherwise, they may keep losing. And the truth is, when you're your last place team in the league. Players aren't saying that's the first place I want to go. St. Louis is an amazing place to live and play hockey, and the fans there are incredible. It has nothing to do with the city, but players, there has to be an enticement to go to a last place team, right? Like that's just the honest way it is. And so some other teams were in the ballpark when I ended up with that contract, and but I think. I didn't talk to the organization. It was going through my agent. And I think, the way it was played out was, well, if you can do this deal, you can have the player. Otherwise, there's other teams in the ballpark that, they're going to keep negotiating with. And, so they made the decision, and I'll be the first to say it was an overpayment for what I brought to the game, but they wanted to bring in a guy that did come off a career year and was a solid defensive guy that they wanted to pair up with a guy like Erik Johnson, who was a high-end prospect, first overall pick, obviously, and a guy that needed some support defensively with him, especially in his early years.
Mm-hmm.
That's why that decision was made. And for me, looking back, it's such a fantastic city, and the fans there were incredible. I feel bad that I wasn't able to give more, in the sense that I was injured my first preseason game. Derek Bugard took out my knee and tore my MCL.
I remember that, Jay. I remember that. You had
did I do anything about it?
You had a couple injuries that year too, man. Then you came back.
Yeah, well, I had that. That was my first I come in all excited to get going and being a part of the new team, and I get my knee kind of blown out by Derek Bugard. That was, I think, a 6 or 7 week thing. And then my first game back from that, I'll never forget it. There was a 2-on-1 coming down towards our net, and I took the ice away, put my hand down and my stick down to block the pass. And it was Rory Fitzpatrick. He snapped the pass across in the 2-on-1. He hit me right in the baby finger. And I was like, ooh, that one hurt. I'm skating up ice, and I took my glove off. I'm like, that feels weird. I took my glove off, and my baby finger looked like a check mark. It completely snapped my finger. So that was the first game back after the first preseason game. And then that was they put a pin in that and had the surgery to get that fixed up. And let's say it was another 6 weeks where, now I've been off. I haven't been part of the team playing and practicing for the first few months, and I get back. I think it was about 19 games in, starting to get a groove and feeling the systems and the team, my teammates and everything. And myself and Dustin Brown in LA, who's a real heavy hitter, we run into each other. We both went to hit each other, and as we hit each other, his knee came up into my pelvic structure. He kind of brought his knee up, and it hit me right in the pelvic bone on the right side, and it opened up my whole pelvic structure. My pubis symphysis was kind of torn open, and that injury shut me down for the season. And actually, I couldn't do any lower body workouts or abdominal workouts for 2 full summers after that injury. So that was that was the one that essentially ended my career, in the sense that I started to slow down. If you're not doing your squats and your plyos and your core strength training over the summers, you're not going to play in the NHL much longer. And that's basically what slowed me down over the next few years. And I only played 4 more years after that hit.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I was watching in the shower a couple of times. I'm like, he's got skinny fucking legs. And I'm like, what the fuck's going on with that? That's why. Hey, real quick. We had such a good time. And it was such a weird time too, where it's kind of that transition period in hockey where you're more, teams are more disciplined. You're more disciplined. Well, we had kind of a little bit more leeway with the Blues when I first got there. I was a young kid. You took me under your wing a little bit. We hung out. But explain the locker room to the guys with Keith Tkachuk, who we all love, who was in his end game. He's in the last part of his career, and he just ran the fucking show. And when he was pissing Andy Murray, he'd grab fucking Paulie Courier and be like, get your ass in there. And they go in there and they cancel practice the next day. Just describe Big Walt and how fucking cool he is, please.
He's amazing. Reggie. I'm going to call him Reggie for
Reggie.
Why, Reggie Dunlop?
No. Yeah, well.
Yeah, no.
Oh.
I'll leave it at Reggie.
Okay.
It's Reggie.
What an awesome room. We had Dallas Drake, just a heart and soul guy. Dan Highnote, heart and soul. Billy Guerin, who's one of the funniest guys, but also has a level of seriousness to him. Dougie Waite, Keith Tkachuk, Marty Ruchinski. I mean, the list goes. Barrett Jackman. It just doesn't end of good quality people, fun guys to be around and enjoy. Not just the game of hockey, but the game. The fun away from the rink. And one of my favorite Big Walt stories. We were in San Francisco. We were out in the Western road trip, and we were in San Francisco, and we all went to a little pub. We had the day off, and we were, in the afternoon at a pub, and there was there's a homeless guy sitting or standing out front, with a sign saying, hey, hungry, you need help, kind of thing. And when Walt went to the bathroom, I went out there and said to the guy, I gave him, I think I gave him a 20 spot and said, hey, do you mind if I write something else on your board? It was a dry erase board. And I wrote, Big Walt sucks. Right? So I ran back to the stool that we were sitting at there before Walt came out of the bathroom, and he sat back down, and we sat there, had a drink, and we're like, what is this? We look, I pointed to the window, what is that? And he looked out, and there's a homeless guy, just, hair everywhere. His clothes are hanging off him with a sign up saying, Big Walt sucks, right? So Walt loses it, and, had some choice words for the guy, like on the inside. He goes, you know what? I'll be right back. He walked out front, brought the guy in and said, hey, can we get you anything to eat, anything to drink? And the guy, was incredibly grateful, obviously. And then Walt said he had his, I think he had a soup or something. He didn't eat much, but had a drink and some food. And then Walt was asking about his life. And I remember the guy said, I'm trying to get up to my daughter. She lives up the coast and haven't seen her in a long time. I don't know if the story was true or not, but Walt was engaging with this guy. And they said, well, listen, I hope you find your daughter. Here, take this. And he gave him $100 bill. And I was like, wow, that's awesome. Wow, that was just something that left an impact on me. And just how to, when you can treat others like that. And yeah, he's a special human, that's for sure.
Well, people were walking by and they saw both of them together, and they started handing Walt money because they thought he was homeless.
Hey, I love that story though, man. I mean, he is such a unbelievable person, man. And people need to know that too, right?
Yes, because that's why I brought it up.
He was always such a big tipper and stuff like that. You hear all the stories, and he raised his kids the right way. His kids are doing the same thing now, man. So.
Yeah, he after playing for 14 years in the league and playing with a lot of different teammates, he is one of the top guys, one of the best guys I can call a friend. I thoroughly enjoyed as a person every minute I had with Big Walt.
All right, a few more minutes and we're gonna let you go. Yeah. I got to ask you about the EJ story there.
Jesus
Christ,
at
the in the Ozarks.
Andy.
Cam wanted me to ask you this. By the way, too.
I want Cheese to be comfortable.
Yeah, I know. So we needed to talk about it. We need to discuss this. So the golf cart incident. Like what's your recollection of it?
Well, you guys haven't told this one yet?
No, not even on radio or anything. People ask me every fucking day.
Kind of talk
not
about
really.
It.
Yeah, so I get brought in on the big ticket, brought in to play with Erik Johnson and be a bit of be a mentor to him, and so all the St. Louis guys, we decided to go up to the Ozarks there and have a little golf weekend, before the training camp starts. And great idea. Get the guys up there, have some fun, get some golf in and get to know each other and build some relations, some different relations and stuff. So we all go up there. Everything's going well. We end up, putting some foursomes together. And it's Erik Johnson with myself, Cam Jansen, and Dan Heino, right? And three fun guys that loosen this kid up, get to know him, and so we're on the course and we're having a good time, a good day. And I hate to say it, Cam, but I was being the responsible one. I'm picking up signs that are getting run over by golf carts, like just the, go this way sign. There was a couple that were run over and I'm like, oh, these guys, I pick it up, stick it back in. And I remember being about 100 yards away and I hear Erik screaming. I'm like, what is that? Like that sounds like he's like hurt. He got stung by a bee. Did he wants to get hit by a golf ball or what happened? And so I walk up and I see him hold his knees like, it's not good. It's not good. I'm like, what did you do? And so it had rained that morning and, he was in his golf cart. He was going down a little bit of a slope and he hit the brakes and the golf cart started sliding. So he put his foot out to like stop the cart from sliding. But when you've got, golf cleats on with some spikes, his foot grabbed the left, I think it was the left leg, right? And it grabbed and it kind of kept on going as the cart was sliding on the grass. And it just pulled his knee out. And next thing you know, it's an ACL injury. So it was a real freak accident. If it didn't rain that morning, he probably hits the brakes and he just stops the golf cart. But yeah, that's what happened. And so we're all, me, Cam, and Danny Heino were like, oh boy, like this isn't going to look good. He's golfing with us, and he ends up. We didn't know by any means it was that severe. But the pain he was in said he did something. We just couldn't have ever fathomed that it would have been an ACL injury from his foot grabbing out of a golf cart. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You know what? I do.
Yeah, that was a tough one to accept. I think one of us said, well, oh boy, you better just get on the ice and at least get a few laps in before you fall into the boards and come up with something, because the golf cart
cheesy.
doesn't seem legit.
Let me refresh your memory a little bit. First off, he does that, and we're like, oh, and he's screaming like a wounded animal in the middle of the Sahara desert with lions. And we're like, why? I went up there and kicked him like an asshole, like, get up, you pussy. And then I look at his knee. I'm like, and then Jay Cheesy's like, I'm getting a fucking helicopter. We're taking him out of here. We're gonna get goddamn. Yeah. You're the helicopter company. We're thinking of everything possible to make this normal, and it didn't happen. And it was starting to get dark because we were the last ones to go. Mm-hmm. And remember how shitty our golf carts were, and we're pulling up to just destroyed. We're pulling up to the resort. And our golf carts are going like this. Ning, 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 ning. And Eric Brewer, our captain.
We weren't very mature that day, were we?
It wasn't. It's all my fault.
Imagine
Brew. Brew and Jax, everybody's staring at us from the clubhouse. And we're like, ning, 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 ning. And our golf carts are fucked. It was the most horrifying thing ever. We were going to fly him out.
But who had to talk to JD and to Larry Plode, to tell him what happened?
I don't. I think Eric gave him a call. I think he may have called Al McInnes, and Al relayed it. I mean, like I said, we didn't know the extent of it. I remember saying, "You're fine, let's go. We'll drive you in the car." It was such a freak thing you never expect, and I don't know if any of us actually saw it happen. And like I said, I was 100 yards away, and I heard the screaming, and I'm like, what could have possibly happened that is making him do that?
Everybody was 100 yards away.
Yeah, we're all 100 yards away.
Right.
No, nobody was within 100 yards.
Oh, we didn't know.
Hey, last thing for you. Dan Heino. That's what I remember about you the most. I mean, outside of a couple other things, though. You're a great guy to cover, whatever. It's great having you here. But you and Dan Heino, and it's so funny because now he's coaching in the NHL, obviously on the bench with Nashville.
Yeah.
I'm curious, how often you guys talk, and why were you guys all of a sudden have such an instant connection, instant friendship? You guys hung out nonstop.
Yeah, I know. Cam, myself, Danny. You know what? It's just you meet a lot of people in the sport, and everyone has different personalities, and sometimes there's groups here and there. And Danny and I came in as UFAs at the same time, and Cam was new and fighting everybody, and a guy that we respected for the way he played and the person he was. And you know what? I think every guy we're talking to right now especially as players, had real great senses of humor, made each other laugh, and enjoyed each other's company. And Danny, Danny's a guy I stay in touch with a lot. He's just a quality human being, and great coach, great teammate, just all the above. So you want to surround yourself and stay in touch with guys like that for sure.
All right, last question for you from me, big boy, and I appreciate you coming on, man. I know you're a busy dude. What are you doing for fun now? I know you had a lot of ties when we were partying a little bit. Mm-hmm. You had that big fucking semi truck, which was such. Why even have? You had a Ferrari we'd cruise around in. What are your toys now? Are you into boats? Are you fit? What are you doing?
Yeah, no, I live off Lake Ontario in the summer, so I've got a boat that I like to get out in the lake with. The cars I've really downsized. I'm down to a small Tesla because I do a lot of driving. I like the fact that it'll drive me on the highway itself. But I have 4 kids. I have 2 daughters and 2 sons. So, most of my fun time or definitely all of my free time is spent with them. So during the pandemic was with hockey shut down up here and at this level of hockey, it was it's a really good time for me to spend a lot of time with them and make up for the lost time when we are busy. When I was playing hockey as a player and had my daughters, and now with my sons, with coaching taking up so much time, it was all my free time is essentially dedicated to them.
Wow, that's awesome. I remember that truck. I remember the truck because you have to like park where the media park. You couldn't even get it in the garage. And I remember, Jay, because I think it was like your first year here and you were hurt and you were nice enough to come do like a radio show with me. And I'm like, just park out in front. It was at like a coffee shop. And you're like, okay. And you pull up in this like semi truck. I'm like, dude, where are you going to park this thing? And you're like, hey, where do you want me to park? And you're in this big, hey, how much did that thing cost to buy that thing? Like, where do you get one of those?
No, I bought it used. I bought it out of Indianapolis. I don't even know what they would be brand new. I think I traded in my Ferrari for it. So somewhere along those lines. Yeah, it was called an International CXT. Yeah, so yeah, it was just, I've always been a car guy, truck guy, and I wasn't looking for it. I was looking for like a big Ford, a big kind of, they're called a Ford Tonka truck. They're called, just the real big boys. And while I was looking for those, I came across the International CXT. I'm like, what is this thing? And you know what? You live once, and so I had that for a few years. Had some fun with it. My kids actually loved it, and but you know what? Nowadays, I've toned her way down with the vehicles, and but yeah, no, I enjoy it. Dude,
it's
pure
all
comedy.
Dude,
pure comedy. Yeah, I had
pure comedy.
Had the air horn. I had the CB. I had the air cushion speed, and just like a truck driver on the highway, you got you hold it on the wide left, wide right. Your palms are facing upwards, and you're spinning it left and right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Dude. No, it was pure comedy.
He'd come down to Enterprise Center and be like, honk, and it'd shake the whole fucking ring. It was so goddamn funny. Cheese, you were so good to me, man. I appreciate. By the way, Andy, his Joker, when Joker came out, when that Batman came out, the badass one with fucking Heath Ledger. He was Joker
for Halloween.
And he spent money on it too. And he looked such the part. It was unbelievable. You got to send me a picture of that. I'm going to post it.
Hey, listen,
I'll
dig into archives.
All the best coaching too, man. And listen, I don't know what your motivation is. Listen, if you want to, you're going to coach in the NHL one day too, man. I know you got the brain for it, the experience. So, and you guys are winning games. So good luck the rest of the way in the OHL this season too with Hamilton, man. So keep doing your thing.
Love you, buddy, man.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Go do your thing.
I really appreciate it. It's been good talking to you both again. It's always a pleasure. Let's stay in touch, okay? And I'll send you those pictures.
Send me the pictures, homeboy.
All right, cheese.
All right, see you, buddy.
See you, man.
All right, guys.
Hey, what's up, everybody? That interview was brought to you by Daredevil Hockey and daredevilhockey.com. Use that promo code today, Cam and Strick. It's going to save you 25%. All caps, Cam and Strick, Daredevil Hockey. Get yourself protected today. All right, we may have set a record for the longest intro in the history of the Cam and Strick podcast. That was a great interview. Jay McKee was unbelievable. We thank him for joining us. Great stories. Listen, we'll have a lot of stuff out there on social media, and we can kind of get into it then, too, and correspond with our listeners. Like, what you think?
Tell us.
Keith Tkachuk story, one of the best stories I've ever heard. Unbelievable story. And then the Erik Johnson story. I mean, for the first time really ever discussed publicly.
Yeah, you knew it, though.
And, And you know what? So we'll see how people react to that, too. But best of luck to Hamilton, man. That's our team now in the OHL this year where Jay is coaching.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're following Hamilton, the Bulldogs.
We love you, Cheesy.
And hopefully they have a great year. Got off to a great start. They were 4-0. And so we'll see how that continues for Jay McKee. All right, that was the Cam and Strick Podcast. As always, brought to you by Hair Club. Again, Hair Club, man. Don't wait.
Don't wait.
All right, Hair Club. Again, find out the solution that works best for you. And there are lots of different solutions, man. You got to use this phone number, though, 800-279-7878, 800-279-7878, 800-279-7878. I wonder if that spells anything. Does that spell like Strick, maybe?
No, it spells get your fucking
local
hair back.
legend, by the way. The promo code is Strick.
Cool.
I forgot to mention
use
that.
Though.
Use
we
that.
Want you to
you're
use
save
all
money.
of it, please.
Yeah, use that. But for Hair Club, go to www.hairclub.com/Cam&Strick.
Yep.
That's our landing page.
Yep.
And then you save like $250 if you book your appointment on our landing page.
That's nice.
That is very nice.
Damn right, baby.
So, again, off of select solutions, and there are hundreds and hundreds of solutions. I guarantee you one thing. Anybody out there who's dealing with, what do you call that when you're dealing with like hair loss? Like, what do you?
Fucking depression.
Oh. Well,
it's called
guarantee
depression.
you they have a solution for all of you.
No, seriously.
They have a solution for all of you. Hair Club. And no reason to be depressed. Like, live
well,
your
when your
life.
fucking hair's falling out, you get depressed. Sandy. Don't act like you don't even fucking know.
Okay, but the hair club's there. Like,
they're there. But I'm just saying,
keep
it's
you
not.
from
It's
feeling
not fucking
that
a
way.
good feeling.
All right,
homie.
local legend, baby.
God damn.
Use that promo code STRICK. BeALocalLegend.com. At BeALocalLegend on Instagram. Check out all their stuff, man.
Yeah, baby.
Ryan Weber, former hockey player, by the way.
Great guy.
Yeah, dude, he's got it going on in North Carolina, baby.
North Carolina, put them hands out, take your shirt off, and spin like a helicopter. Blah, 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 blah.
Name me a local legend that you first local legend you met.
Patty.
No, your first one you met.
Oh, myself.
No.
Oh, what?
Who'd you meet as a kid? You're like, that's a local legend.
Twister.
Okay.
There you go. He's not local though.
Brody had something good on Instagram.
There's
the
no
other day
local.
about
There's no local blues players before me, homie. Just so you know, gang.
The scariest player ever, like a Halloween, playing off that Halloween theme. Did you get that video I sent you last night of the scary music that I had going on?
No, I just
you didn't listen to it.
I ignored it. I mean,
it was a very scary
cool
scene. It was a very scary scene outside of my house.
I bet. Yeah, I bet the 4.0 nerd boy was like, "I'm going to crunch numbers for you."
I told you. Oh, no, he's at school. He's at Harvard.
Good for him.
Yeah, he didn't come home for Halloween.
Cure cancer.
But I may bring him over to your house, though, like when he comes
I don't
to town.
want him unless he has a good vaccine for me.
Well, I told you Laurie was going as a like a sexy ghost type thing.
She looks sexy.
Wasn't it kind of like a sexy ghost?
Fuck yeah.
Yeah. So
you didn't look sexy.
She was wondering how you were, how your Halloween.
She is
went
worried
and
about
stuff
me,
like
isn't
that.
she?
No, she wanted to know how your Halloween.
Most women
went.
are.
Well, we're coming out this weekend.
Most women are.
We're looking forward to coming over.
Like, what's Cam doing?
Yeah.
I'm not doing anything.
First local legend that I met, man, it might have been, there's so many.
Who? In St. Louis?
I remember Brian Sutter when I was a young kid.
He's not local, you idiot. Jesus Christ.
Well, he played for the Blues.
He's not local.
He's local.
He didn't live here.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
You
can put him in front of Pat LaFontaine?
My music teacher in grade school, she was on a very famous show at one point in time. It was a very famous show.
Badass.
Yeah, she was
Andy, that's really cool.
Like
Let's talk about more. We've been on for an hour and 50 fucking... I got to take a piss.
All right, Bellman.com, baby.
Jesus Christ.
Danny Boy. Yeah, you can
Great
talk
guy.
to him. Or Kenny, Dale.
Great guy.
That's a first line if I've ever seen
I
one
want
right
that
there.
3/4 ton, homies. I'm
Yeah,
not
I
playing
know.
with
I'm
you.
thinking about that too, actually.
Danny
the
boy,
3/4
listen to
ton.
me. We need to talk about some things, homie. I need to look shit kicking again.
Yeah.
Brah. So you know. I'm going to fucking Grand Tetons, brother. And I'll fucking video that mug. I want that 3/4 ton.
Yeah, well.
I want that diesel. I'll pay the fucking gas.
Get out there to
$8
Detroit.
billion
They want to
in
buy
gas.
your used car too. Don't forget
Joe
that.
Biden.
You have a used car, they will say, hey, don't get political on this show.
I didn't say anything.
Oh. They will buy your car.
Yeah.
They will buy your used car. They will buy top dollar too.
Yeah.
And don't wait around for that.
No shit.
Take advantage of that offer right now because eventually, like the economy is going to turn around. Things are going to change.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well.
Well, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
So like, and
That's-
then all of a sudden,
Put that package.
then all of a
in,
sudden the
bro.
value is not going to be as high. And
That's true.
So I'm just saying. So take advantage of that right now. Okay. Car Shield 800-857-2481. Again, 800-857-2481. Use that promo code CAM. You're going to save 10%. I wouldn't tell you if it wasn't going to save you money. So again, it's going to save you some money. Use that
Might
promo
get laid
code.
too.
Yeah. Daredevil Hockey. I mean, all our friends, everybody. MyBookie, again, mybookie.ag. Use that promo code Cam Strick. All caps, no and, just Cam Strick. They're going to double your money. Do it now. I want people going to MyBookie and telling us that they're doing it.
It helps us, man. It does, guys. I'm not going to lie to you. I hate the bag.
Do you not hear it in my voice? You hear it, man. I'm telling you, please help us.
I hear a lot of weird things in your voice, man.
Like what?
I don't know, flamboyancy.
No, I mean, you can't.
I'm just saying. It's all good. I like you.
I have a good voice. Actually, I don't have a really good voice.
You got a good radio voice.
It's not
you're
great.
good. My voice sucks, dude. My looks, everything about me sucks. God, my teeth, my hairline. God.
Everything can be corrected, man. There's a solution for everybody.
All right.
And you know
Thank
that.
you.
My custom sports chair, again, get there, check it all out. Everything is on our social media. In case you didn't see, Brody posts everything. So
does.
it's on Instagram, Twitter.
You might misspell a name.
If
but
Conor McGregor or something like that. It may happen.
Only the biggest
athlete ever.
Ever in existence.
So listen, if
love
you forget like a promo code, you can reach out to us on social media. We'll share that with you, or just check it out. Look at one of the posts, and it says it right on there. So just remember, Local Legend is the promo code is let's see, it is
Cam Strick 20.
No, it's Strick on Local Legend. Just Strick.
Fuck that.
Yeah, but my custom sports share it's Cam and Strick 20, and
More
then of
females
course
will be on that
it's
one.
Cam and Strick all caps for Daredevil.
And
hey, help us with this, guys.
Cam for
it's
Carson.
all on our fucking shit.
Yeah.
Look it up.
Yes.
Help us with this, guys. We
All
love
right,
you.
this has been Jay McKee.
Yeah.
On this edition of the Cam Strick Podcast, presented by Hair Club.
Yeah, baby.
I know it was long,
Sorry,
but we
dudes.
had a lot to get into, man. It's
love
the
you guys.
Halloween edition.
We love you guys.
We got
honestly.
a good one coming up next as well, so stay tuned. Keep it here with us.
See you, dudes.
On the Cam Strick Podcast.